Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week, in Little Compton, Rhode Island, a hole in the wall at the site of a vicious murder opens up the possibility that literally anyone in town could have done this. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. Once again, we are so excited to be here, as usual.
Happy to be back.
Happy to be back. We had a great time in the South.
Yeah.
I almost said the wrong city.
No, it was
Raleigh.
Charlotte. Yeah.
Well, Raleigh and Cary. It's a Raleigh Improv, but it's in Cary. Whatever.
Right.
Raleigh, Charlotte, Atlanta. You guys were awesome. Once again, by the way, that Raleigh Improv, it's a new club.
It's unbelievable.
And it's a really nice club.
Yeah.
If you live in that area, check it out because it's a really beautiful club and they do a good job and
they do.
They run a smooth show. And of course, the Buckhead is always
they're always
wonderful
so good
to us in Atlanta, and we appreciate them. Always treat our audience right and everything, and they put on a good show. And
the Charlotte show was wild too.
That was fun too. That was a comedy festival, so I don't know who to credit for that, but they did a good job. Either way, the crowd was fantastic. Great crowds. Thank you guys so much, and also thank you to everybody who has given us reviews this week. We really, really appreciate that. It really helps you go up the charts. We don't understand why.
No.
We don't know why Apple Podcasts has that funky algorithm, but if you have not done it yet, hit that purple icon up there, the Apple Apple Podcast app and give us 5 stars. It doesn't matter what you say. You can say you're following instructions. These guys told me to do this. It really doesn't matter. It's really not for our egos. It's just to drive us up the charts. Also, definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything small town murder. And of course, crime and sports. If you're not listening to crime and sports, guys, you're missing out. Everybody out there, you absolutely don't have to like sports. You do have to like Jimmy and myself making fun of an idiot and because of their stupid crimes. That's what you have to like. And it makes it better when it's someone who doesn't have to do any of this stuff and does it anyway, because then we can really feel...
Give them the what for.
We can give them the what for. That's right. So do that, please. That helps a lot. Check out Crime and Sports. You can get all of your merchandise things on shutupandgivememurder.com. And, of course, tickets to live shows.
Right.
It's going toward the end of the tour here.
This is the last chance,
and
guys.
This next weekend coming up when we are in Pittsburgh, Philly, and D.C. Pittsburgh's been sold out since the second day they went on sale. They're amazing there. Philly, there's still a few tickets left in Philly and some tickets left in D.C.
Only a few, so you better hurry.
Yeah, you better hurry. After that, everything else is either sold out or very, very close to sold out. So pretty much the rest of the tour is done after that. Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, St. Louis, sold out. Milwaukee, sold out. Chicago has like 12 tickets left. So, and it's in December. So thank you guys for doing that for us. We really, really appreciate everything you do for us. And if you want to be an even bigger hero and do more for us for some reason, because you're spectacular, and be one of our producers, that can be done very easily too over at patreon.com/crimeinsports, or you can head over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. And with Patreon, we put up bonus episodes here. Like this week, there'll be a bonus episode. It's a shorter episode, but we do a case for the Patreon. We'll do a little case, and it'll be pretty crazy stuff. I try to find a crazy case that's just shorter. And that's how we do it. So thank you guys, everything for that. And you can get to both of those places from where, Jimmy?
Shutupandgivememurder.com.
That's right. You know it. That's that. Thank you for everything. And now it's time for the disclaimer. This is a comedy podcast. It's a comedy show. We're comedians. We're going to make jokes. People will die. That is, we promise you. It's called Small Town Murder. It'd be really weird if it was just kind of like somebody hit somebody on the head. They were fine after a while, but they put on a good lawsuit on them. That would not be the same show. So people are going to die. We don't make fun. We make fun of small towns. We make fun of bumbling police forces, like let a murderer go free for 10 years for no reason. We make fun of murderers, but what we do not do, what we go out of our way to do, is we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
Yahtzee.
That's how it works. That's the show. If that sounds good to you, we're going to have a blast. If that doesn't sound good to you, no matter how it's done, true crime and comedy should never should never mix, ever be in the same little area. Then you know what, this isn't for you probably, and that's fine. There's lots of shows where they will solemnly tell you about someone's head being removed from their body and placed in a pit in the backyard. That's great
to masturbate into.
That's exactly right. But for us, no, we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. And if that sounds good to you, I think it's time to lay back and shout, "Shut up and give me murder!" Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
All right.
What do you say? Let's do this.
Great.
We were down south last week. We were crisscrossing the country for a while. Mississippi last week. Then we went down south to Mississippi. Now we're going to bounce back up north over here. We're going to go to Rhode Island.
Oh.
All the way to Rhode Island, the tiny forgotten state of Rhode Island, the smallest state, obviously.
The Reno of the states.
The Reno of the states. I don't know why that's true, but why is it the Reno of the... Oh, because it's the biggest little state.
Right.
Yeah, I think they just go by the littlest little state. There's nothing really happening. I've been to Rhode Island.
Barely a state.
It's beautiful there. It's gorgeous, but not a lot happening. We're going to Little Compton, Rhode Island.
What?
And this is Little Compton.
Are you serious?
Like Compton, like NWA, but Little Compton, Rhode Island, which is hilarious because it's in a little state, which makes it...
Is there a little MC Ren there?
I think there's everything. I think there's everything there. Okay. Lots of things. It's in the far southeastern Rhode Island. Okay. It's on the Big Island here. There's...
What?
There's a big island off of southeastern Rhode Island where there's like a couple islands. This is the biggest one in the farthest southeast, and this is that. Okay. So it's like islands off of Rhode Island. So it's really out there. It's about 45 minutes to Providence, Rhode Island, about an hour, 15 minutes up to Boston, and 40 minutes to Warren, Rhode Island, which was our last Rhode Island episode, episode 75.
Wow.
Yeah, back in July of 2018.
Fascinating.
It was one of our first ones in the studio, as a matter of fact, and that was the one where the young man, I believe, murdered his parents and kept them in a septic tank.
Oh, Jesus,
while
that
he went
one?
and spent their money. Yeah, that one.
My word.
I don't know where they went. They must have ran away. I'm
have
not
we
sure.
had two that were put in a septic tank?
I'm not sure of a septic tank. Well, I think one was an above ground, one was a below ground. That's why. So
okay. Yeah.
It's different. It's really
horrible.
It's really different at that point. This is in Newport County. 02837 is the zip code. 401 is the area code. Motto: home of Mini Dr. Dre, Tiny Ice Cube, and Teensy E.
Teensy.
I'm so glad you went with MC Ren because I'm like, he picked the one I didn't put. I'll Pietragallo, but that's a different story. But no, but everybody forgets him. He didn't say shit.
Yeah.
So,
say shit.
so we got that. Absolutely. I don't know how everybody doesn't make that joke.
Unbelievable.
You have to have like a tiny.
Yeah. Teensy E is my favorite.
Do you like Teensy E?
Teensy E.
Teensy E. I like that too. That's
pretty solid.
solid.
I like that you saved him for last.
Well, it's the rule of three, and then you pound it at the end with the punchline. What are you going to do here? So, history. Little Compton, originally inhabited by, obviously, Native Americans, as most everything here was, so the Sakonnet Indians, and they are obviously native to that area. Yeah. They are part of the, related to the Wampanoag people, and they spoke Massachusetts. That was the language they spoke. That was their language. That's where Massachusetts comes from.
They still have the language.
So, they still have that fucked up spelling, too. Is it two S's or two T's? Oh, it's two S's and two T's, but not the other S. That's only one S. Never mind. Spell Massachusetts quickly if you're not from there. Enjoy. You'll go, which one is it? There's S's and T's.
Two S's.
Fuck, which is it?
Is this the one where there's a song that helps me spell it?
No, that's Mississippi. Shit. No one made up a Massachusetts song. God, this place is full of slackers. Come up with a song. I can't spell shit. So the name has been interpreted in a variety of ways, as they say here. The one that they seem to go with the most is, quote, it's interpreted to mean where the water pours forth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's water fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Y'all motherfuckers move straight out of Little Compton.
Get to Riverside, you guys. This place sounds terrible.
A lot of Ice Cube lyrics going to come out. So, this is the colonial settlers in Little Compton were from Massachusetts, and they were granted a charter to start a new area around here. They divided the land into lots, and then people started settling there. Okay. There was 29 original people who settled down in this area, and there was a lot of conflicts, obviously, with the Native Americans nearby. Sure. You just move in, there tends to be conflict. Yeah, that happens
when it's not your place.
Yeah, it happens.
Seems to be. So somebody comes in my house and is like, "I'm going to stay here." I got a lease.
Hold on, well, we're at least going to talk about this.
I got paperwork.
Paperwork, sir. In 1675, a house was built here, and this was people. They were trying to settle it, but things weren't going well, and then they finally stuck, basically. And in 1747, it became part of Rhode Island. They made it a state. It became more officially a part of the not the United States yet, but England and everything. It was more official at that point. So the records date back to about 1746. There is so many cemeteries in this town. Yeah. It's mainly cemeteries,
well, that
really.
Makes sense.
There are 57 historic cemeteries in the town, and the ones back home, back east, there's bigger ones, and then there's these kind of like a house lot size cemeteries that are like an old cemetery. Like I remember,
like 50, 60 people
in New York. The street my father lived on, you'd be walking, and it's house, cemetery, house.
Weird
on the street, and the cemetery, that particular cemetery, all the tombstones are from the 1700s.
Bananas.
Like if you could find ones that weren't completely worn away, you could see it would be like 1791. That was just that old of a cemetery, and they just didn't move them. And so there's
records that say who's there, though, right?
Beats the shit out of me. I assume so. There's tombstones, so I assume they wrote it down.
But if they're all filed down to smooth now from the rain, I
assume someone wrote it down at the time.
I hope so. Like on pen and paper,
platted it out. Yeah, I'm sure, and then
put it inside where that paper's safe.
Yeah, that's exactly. Let's not get this wet or anything like that. So, there's I don't know, town commons they have in the state. Only 3 towns have town commons in the whole state of Rhode Island, and one of them is Little Compton, and another one is Warren, which was the last.
How about that?
How weird is that?
Commons are like shopping areas?
No, it's hard to explain. Let's not get into it.
All right.
Let's not get into small town river talk with James and Jimmie. That's some
commerce talk.
That's some deep river talk stuff right there. So this was designated in 1677. It's supposed to be like a Central Park type of thing, basically. This is for everybody to gather and do shit, and this is where everybody's going to go. It's a European kind of a thing, a town center.
Square,
yeah, kind of a town square. The Commons contain a huge cemetery, though, and it's a creepy looking cemetery. Awesome. There's this picture I found of it on a cloudy day.
Hell yeah.
And it looks like a complete Stephen King, like, insert or something. It's weird. So this is my favorite part of the town. There's a water tower there, and it was put up in 1905 out of pure spite.
Just because?
This is fucking
they were
amazing.
Furious?
Yeah, it's called Spite Tower. Okay. And people have done this throughout time. People will like build shit in spite of their neighbor to fuck with them.
Sure.
This is a water tower that was built exclusively to piss one guy off. And block his view.
One guy.
I don't like him. You know what I can do? I'm going to build a tower that'll block his view, and he can't do a goddamn thing about it. Didn't benefit the person at all. Just did it to be a dick.
Look at my water tower.
And it stands to this day. It's
still there?
It's still there, and I think now it's like a historic thing. Like
Hilarious.
They can't take it down. So it's now the federally recognized pillar of spite.
It's like
which
a
is fantastic.
giant middle finger.
How wonderful is that? Not only did it survive, I'll get him to take that shit down. No, you won't.
Ever.
They're going to say you're not allowed to.
Fucking ever.
We've all decided, as a nation, we've decided we like it right there, Mr. Johnson, so you, sir, can eat dicks. What did he do?
They're all on my side.
Shit.
I didn't just get the town constable and people on my side. I got the whole fucking country. I went to
crazy.
D.C.
Everything. No, it's the Congress has talked about this.
Dissenting opinion, none.
It's funny because like I read up on these spite things that people build, and I guess most of the time people build spite fences.
Yeah,
I guess that pisses people off when they want open land, so they'll build these spite fences.
Yeah.
Rarely do they build an entire spite structure,
right?
Like build that, because that's expensive to start building things like that. A fence you can throw up.
A lot of times people just paint their house to fuck with people. I've seen a lady that she was trying to zone her house for business, and they wouldn't allow it. So all she wanted to do was have a daycare center. That's it. She was just going to watch kids. So she decided to paint her whole house, every wall, a different Crayola color, and they couldn't do anything about it.
No, that's
her
amazing.
House. Go fuck yourself.
Well, this is kind of where HOAs came from, spite fences and spite towers and shit like that. So that's the problem.
Dicks.
That's the problem. Yeah, it's where HOAs and ordinances of that kind of, you can't build a water tower to block your neighbor's view just to be a jerk.
There's a law somewhere saying you can't buy property and parcel it and make a development without an HOA in place.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't that a fucking stupid-ass law?
HOAs are insane.
I hate them.
I will not.
So much.
I will not be anywhere near a house with an HOA.
I live in one, and I don't care because I rent it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to deal with these people.
Right.
Yeah, not my fault.
I'm not going to your meetings.
All
Fuck
right.
you.
So, no way. I'm not telling anybody what color goddamn plants I can put in my yard.
Never.
Eat dicks, sir. So, this was, there was a fort church built during World War II, that was named for Benjamin Church. Now, it wasn't a church, it was a fort named Fort Church. Just so that's confusing for a guy named Benjamin Church. And, they made a battery just in case we got attacked on the coast from the Germans. That's literally, they were worried about that. And then it became a golf club. So,
Fort Church is a golf club now.
Where near it, where they cleared shit out for it. They're like, this is a good place for golf too. I mean, we can defend against the Nazis and golf.
Right.
So it's
damn
all right.
Nice grass grows here.
That's good shit. So, this is, it's been very much developed now around it, but it's very different here. There's a lot. They call it kind of like an unspoiled old New England town. I always see everywhere. It's very. They have this town common. They have a lot of the old buildings intact. They've kept the history. And if you see where it is location wise, it seems like it'd be easier because you have to
make an effort to get there. It's not on the way to something.
Okay.
It's you'd have to go through other places on the way to this place. This place is by itself at the end of the line kind of thing. Last stop on the tracks, last stop on the line here. So one guy here says, quote, "We like to keep it little. It's a beautiful place." He says, we like a quiet place. There are no traffic jams, no stoplights, no Walmart. We don't want to be known as Newport, which is a nearer town.
Which is beautiful.
Bigger, and it's just fine. Yeah, it's just fine. But they want this to be a good place to whittle on the porch, I feel like. Little Compton needs to be is very much like a Stephen King novel.
Yeah. Do you think they were furious when they were like, this place is beautiful, we're going to keep it pristine, we're going to get all kinds of people coming, and then they find out about how bad
what's going on over there?
It's going to ruin your tourism.
Straight out of where?
Oh, Jesus.
This isn't good. Has anyone notified the mayor? Can we build any kind of spite audio barrier, possibly?
Can we put a water tower right on the Mississippi so that those people cannot see us?
From over there, all the way. So notable people here. The Reverend Sylvester Graham is from here. You know, who the fuck is that?
No.
I'm sure. He was a Presbyterian minister and a dietary reformer, known for his emphasis on vegetarianism and the temperance movement and eating whole grain bread. His preaching inspired graham flour, graham bread, and graham cracker products. He is the graham and graham cracker.
How about that?
From here.
He's the original dickhead.
The original cracker is from here.
The original, those are great. That's the only thing that he did that's amazing. Vegetarianism sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
that food
I guess
sucks.
Graham crackers are a good supplement to it, I suppose. Made it easy to give children shit to snack. Here, hold on to that and gum it down for a while. People have been snacking on good shit since for 150 years because of this guy. Good for him. He's been called the father of vegetarianism in America, this guy. So,
original dick.
Original guy that I'm not going to listen to because I like meat. So you want to not eat it? Fine.
You know what?
I don't care.
Maybe he's not a dick. Maybe he's just a brilliant man because he created a whole market that people have gotten super rich off of.
He did only live to 57. So you have to look at it that way. It was the 1800s, but he only lived. Then again, he could have had anything, really. He could have gotten an ear infection.
Right.
They didn't have penicillin back then. So
in the 1800s, that may as well be 135, though.
Every day was a roll of the dice in the 1800s. Any little virus, you're just dead.
It's over.
Oh, strep throat, dead.
Goodbye.
Done. Dead. Ear infection, dead. Bad sinus infection, right to your brain, dead. Any little thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you cut yourself up, it's going to get infected, dead.
Gangrene, you're dead.
Dead. We'll lop off your arm first. Hopefully it won't spread to your brain. If it does, you're dead. You're just dead.
Brain or your heart, and it's over.
Can't help you. Yeah. Unless the answer is cut it off or carve it out, we don't know. And then we don't even know it's in there because we have no way of finding out other than to cut you open and take a peek.
Right.
There's no other way.
And that may cause further growth.
Or then you get an infection and we can't do anything because we carved you open with a dirty knife. Because they didn't do sterilization till late Civil War. Right. So, I mean...
And then the doctor sneezed in it.
Yeah, this was pre-sterilization. Right. They'd chop someone else open and be like, wipe that blade off. Nurse, wipe that blade off. I have to slice open the next guy. Shit was insane back then.
You could die of an abscess in your tooth.
You could die of anything. Roll every day. Roll the dice. Hope nothing kills me today because anything is possible.
Unreal.
It's absolutely nuts. So this town, population-wise, in 1790, there was 1,500 people here. And in 1950, there was 1,500 people here.
What?
So it stayed exactly the same for a really long time.
How the hell did they do that?
It just stayed the same.
It's a magic trick.
It's super weird. Sometimes people would come and then the same amount would leave the next year. It was like they just balanced it out. And nowadays, though, 3,521 people here. They've upped it since about 1980. People have started coming here. It's up 5% since 1990. Mm-hmm. Females are slightly more than males, which makes sense because the median age is 53.9.
Good Lord.
So that's way older than the 38-year-old average in the rest of the country. More married people than not. It's an area. It's expensive to live here, by the way, too. So
sure, it's New England.
You're going to get in this, especially. It's in a little island in the bottom corner of an island.
It's a destination.
Wait till we get to the real estate report. So 61% married, kind of an older whatever. Divorce rate's normal. Single rate is down, obviously, because married rate is up. Here, not a lot of people single with no kids. Not a lot of that. Race of this town, 95.4% white. So pretty white. 0.9% 9% black. You almost got the 1%, guys. You just keep going. And I have a stat on that, which is mind-blowing, by the way. It's 0.6% Asian, 1.3% Hispanic. Okay. So, it's pretty white. In the 1980 census, there was count them. Two black people in this town in the 1980 census.
A couple.
Two. Yeah. A couple. I don't know if they were together or not. There was two of them, and that's it.
Two dudes living together?
I'm not sure. Yeah. Roommates. Yeah. I don't know what it was. Two ladies going to school. I'm not sure what the hell it was, but either way, the largest group here ethnically is Portuguese.
Really?
A lot of Portuguese. If you remember, if you ever watched Family Guy, there was a weird subplot where he owned a fishing boat, Peter did, and hired Portuguese guys.
Got it.
And later on, they go, I don't know why we did that, because, no one even really knows what that is. Who knows Portuguese people that much, or that they fish, or where they're from, or anything like that in the U.S. It's not a known thing.
No, it's not.
They're from Rhode Island, and they do a lot of fishing.
Okay.
The Portuguese here. I guess they started coming late 1800s, and in 1900, Portuguese were 15% of the population.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was they stuck around here because there was a lot of fishing jobs, and they were good at fishing because if you know where Portugal is, it's on the tip of a... It's in the sea, basically. It's all surrounded by water, pretty much.
South America?
No. That is Europe.
Africa? Oh, it's in Europe?
That's Europe. It's by Spain. Oh. It's beautiful. Oh. Portugal's gorgeous.
I don't know.
It's beautiful. It looks like Spain and Italy.
Then why the hell would they come here?
I've wondered that. Well, oppression. Same reason my grandmother's from Abruzzi. It's beautiful, but I mean, when the friggin' Nazis destroy it for years after the fascists take over for 20 before that, you know what? It's a little run down around here. New York's looking pretty good.
There's bricks in our front yard.
Yeah, this is pretty shitty right now. So 47% of the people here are religious. A overwhelming majority of those people. The biggest group being Catholic, obviously, 34.5% Catholic, because as we know, Catholics are the Baptists of the North, obviously. So 0.3% Jewish, 0.0% Islam. Last election, 56% voted Democrat, 37% Republican. Mm-hmm. So it's weird that it would be, it's the opposite. Usually Northeast kind of bucks the trends on that. Normally, if you have a small town that is affluent and 95% white, it's usually a little more conservative in small towns, but not in the Northeast. In the Northeast, it's a different thing. That's just statistically here. Unemployment rate here, 2.8% right now.
Wow.
Which is insanely low. Yeah, I don't know how you would find anybody to do anything, because if you need a specific person for a specific job, and only 2.8% of the population is kind of your pool, you might not find that person. So median household income here is about $70,000 a year, which is higher than the $57,000 average in the rest of the country. A lot of jobs there's some construction jobs. There's a lot of shit being built. Real estate's expensive here. Transportation is a big thing here. I guess trains and boats and things like that. Cargo off of that. Yeah. Also, healthcare is a big deal because there's a lot of old people, and more like professional and scientific white collar type jobs here too. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Cost of living, 100 being regular average par. Here it is 159. Okay. Little bit high. Housing is the high one. Everything else is pretty normal except for $279 for housing.
Jesus.
And median home cost here, $515,200.
What?
Yeah, most of the houses here are worth over $400,000.
Oh my God.
This place is really tough to find at the real estate.
That is unbelievable.
If it's for you though, we have for you the Little Compton, Rhode Island Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here, this is the bargain. I don't know how this is so low. Goes for $1,160, which is less than the national average. So I don't know how
less than a mortgage on a $400,000 house.
I would say I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,200 square foot house. Is the cheapest house I could find, and it is needs work. Let's just say that $369,000 for that house, which
for a piece of shit.
Well, wait till you hear this, because this one's near the water. 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,064 square foot house. That is it's not a great house. I mean, it's not like, oh, it's amazing in here. It's like the future. It's not anything like that. $650,000. 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
1,000 square feet.
That is an apartment right there, man. That's crazy. Finally, I found this is like a dream house. 7 bedroom, 3 bath, 3,334 square foot. It is on a cliff overlooking the water.
Yeah.
Your yard is like a little peninsula of its own, where it's like a ridiculous scenic, like a postcard. You sit atop a cliff that goes where there's ocean, just beating waves upon your cliff. It's amazing. $3.1 million.
What?
Not so nice
is
anymore.
Is that the most expensive we've found in these towns?
No, there's more.
We
found more. We found higher. In this town, there was $8 million. There was $14 million mansions, $8 million mansions. This is like, it was reasonable, you know? Yeah. Not reasonable, $3.1 million. But
so that's somebody's summer home from Boston, right?
I would assume
it's gotta be.
Either that or someone lives just a wonderful lifestyle that I'm so jealous of.
With nobody around.
They just go out of their backyard, put a chair down, and sit there, and they're all alone on a cliff with ocean around them.
And they just smile all day.
And they just smile and laugh. I feel like they just laugh. I feel like they sit there and they look around, and just every once in a while they're like, ha, 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 ha.
Just slapping knees all day.
And then they smile and just sit there for a while
look around.
Yeah, like Tom Hanks in The Money Pit when he's delirious on the floor, just laughing. Yeah. So things to do in this town. Got to be a ton, right? Jesus. We have the Tiverton Days Parade. Now here we go with that.
Tiverton
Days Parade.
What does that have to fucking do with Compton?
They announced their grand marshals this year. Yeah. Will be Ms. Louise Durfee and Mr. Huck Little. That's a grown man's name.
His first name is Huck?
Huck Little. Huck Little Compton? Is that a character?
Yeah.
This is Mr. Huck Little, and he's like a frog with a top hat, and he comes out. That's their fucking... I don't know. He looks
Miss Louise what?
He's
Baker?
like Mr. Peanut.
Yeah.
Durfee. The parade will be televised. This is funny. The parade will, this is right off their page. The parade will be televised live on Facebook. Nope. That's not how Facebook or television works. As a matter of fact, you can't televise something on Facebook.
You've got an 8-year-old holding the camera. You're going live.
I think Mr. Huck Little wrote this announcement because that is a very old man or very old woman who wrote, it's going to be televised live on the Facebook. He didn't write but it's still there.
May as well be.
And will be posted to YouTube. So
is that what it said?
In case you want to watch this thing, I'm sure it's up there.
Christ.
On Friday of this parade, bring a blanket or chair and enjoy the music of Bluegrass Invitation Band. The Bluegrass Invitation Band? Were they invited from the Bluegrass, or is an invitation only type band like other bands? You just show up with a fucking bottle of moonshine and a washboard. I don't know.
We invited them.
I don't know. The Home Brewed Band. Which sounds wonderful.
That's
and
good.
Michaela and the Little Necks. Like clams.
Yeah.
There's a lot of clams from around there. Thanks to a generous donation and assistance from George Alzabak, owner of George's Gas and Service and Napa Auto Parts in Fall River. Well, what about? That's amazing.
Are you Michaela? No, I'm one of the clams.
Yeah, I'm one of the little clams. Hold on. Teensy E is also one of the little clams. So is little Dr. Dre.
Michaela and a bunch of little girls that they're calling little clams.
Little clams.
That's fucked up.
This is me and my little clams, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's not right. Then they say that they will light up the fire pits, which is called Fields of Fire, where they basically just light up fires all over this field, and you just sit there, and it's in a field dotted with fires. It's like,
that's dangerous.
I guess like some sort of 50s teenage drinking parties on the beach taking place multiple dozen times over.
Beach blanket bingo.
I guess so.
In a fucking field.
In a field.
Yeah.
Yay. Sounds exciting. So crime rate in this town, what we, of course, are interested in, is very low. This is a nice, little, idyllic, safe town. I mean, we're making fun of it, obviously, but I mean, this is a place where if you could afford to live in a place like this, it's not a bad place to live and raise your family and stuff like that.
Too busy laughing.
They're laughing at the ocean. I mean, if you can afford that expensive of a house and all that, I mean, obviously your life is different anyway. But on top of that, this seems like a decent place to live. Sure. You're kind of separated from most of the rest of the world's problems, geographically and everything else.
Probably financially.
And financially, that's the thing. But it's both financially and geographically, because obviously there's a lot of neighborhoods in every city that are beautiful neighborhoods right next to shitty neighborhoods.
Right next to it.
That's how that works. This is.
Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Not how this works here. No, crime rate is about half for property crime. Okay. So that's about half the national average. And murder, rape, robbery, and assault, violent crime, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is about 1/3 the national average.
Super safe.
So it's a safe town, very nice, idyllic. People stay here. Mm-hmm. People with money, that's why there's a lot of older population. Sure. People with money will stay here and retire here still. I mean, if they can afford it. Whereas, everywhere else they go, I'm getting the hell out of here, and they move to Florida or, Phoenix or somewhere like that. Here, they're like, nope, not going anywhere. It's too nice. It's very interesting. So, obviously, we should talk about a murder that took place here. Yeah. Let's shatter it. Okay. Let's shatter the image of this wonderful town. It was safe
for a minute.
It was safe. And then, May 28th, 1999.
Oh.
Let's go back to 1999.
Pretty recent.
Absolutely, in this town.
I guess it was 20 years ago.
It feels way more recent.
That's the year I graduated high school. It doesn't feel like 20 years ago.
Well, it's funny because think about the year you graduated high school. Yeah. Think about how far before that 20 years sounded. Like if someone said 1979 when you're graduating high school, you're like, oh, Jesus.
I wasn't even born yet.
People had green refrigerators and fucking stupid hair.
Harvest Gold was words that people were like, fuck yes.
I want avocado green. All green and Harvest Gold, baby. People were buying, gremlins and driving them in Pintos.
With a smile.
You know what I'm saying?
Jacked about it.
Things were weird.
Driving that shit home and being like, look what I did, honey.
It felt like just so long ago. Now it feels like yesterday because, I guess because we're old. I think that's how that feels. It's
just so weird that 99 was that long ago and Jay-Z had he was
on his third album, I think, by then.
He's putting songs out.
I think he might have been on his fourth album by then.
He may have been.
Because I know the first one was out in 96, and then Reasonable Doubt in 96, and then the second one was out in 97. I want to say right there.
He's certainly on his
watch and all that shit. I think, that's his third or fourth album, probably.
It's so bizarre.
Probably singles being released from the fifth at this point. I'm not even fucking around. It doesn't seem that long ago.
I had a friend with a a 1997 car then, and I was blown away that it was so new. Looking at that car today, in an Arizona sun, those cars are trash.
Faded and
They're
trash.
garbage.
It's like upside down. Looks like it would blow away in the wind like a dandelion spore. Things are a disaster. So let's talk about a couple of people back in this time period. Okay, let's talk about a woman named Patricia. She's in her mid-20s here. Patricia Rogalin, or Rogalin, I'm not sure. Rogalin, we'll say. We'll just call her Patricia.
I like that better.
Patricia. Now, Patricia here, she is living with a man named Jeremy Motyka, or
Jeremy it is.
Motyka. Motyka, we're going to go with Jeremy. Now, Jeremy's 24 years old, and they live together in Fall River, Massachusetts, and they have a young son together as well, and the young son lives there also, which is a good sign. Hasn't been taken away yet.
Right.
That's good. And also, other members of her family live there as well.
Okay.
So basically, he lives with her family. Is how that works. Basically, he knocked her up. They did not, decide to have any sort of legal connection with each other, which is fine. It's your decision.
And
then
your thing.
He just moved in with her family rather than, them getting a place of their own like you would normally want to do when you have a child.
Yeah.
But they're in their mid-20s, so that happens.
And they also now
That's
have
tough.
a built-in babysitter at home. If they need to go somewhere, you just leave the kid with grandma.
That's true. And the Northeast, too, I mean, even in 99, the Northeast is just expensive. It's a lot harder to move out on your own in the Northeast because of the prices. It's not like here where you could be like, well, I'll just go get a shitty apartment on the West Side for a while. It's fine. It'll be $750 a month. I don't care. Conditioning's included. It's a dump, but I'll carry a box cutter from the car to my door. It's fine.
Where do you find a shit apartment complex in a decent area of town where
that's the other
high
thing.
School kids get emancipated and that's where they
That's
go
where
live.
they live. And they
it's very common too. And all the neighborhood around them hate that apartment complex.
That we were talking about that apartment complex. Actually, I used to live there. That's hilarious.
Everybody had
lived in a place like that. Yeah, but that's what you do. That's what I did. Damn it! And you went and got it.
You go get a piece of shit.
And you work on it from there. That's how you do it.
Only where to go is up.
That's right. If you listen to the first, 35 episodes of Crime and Sports, you'll hear us. The sound is way different because we weren't in the studio. We were in the living room of said shitty apartment.
One of those,
in shitty neighborhood that had free air conditioning, and that was the drawing point of it. So, trust me, we get it. Not taking shots down at anyone for their financial situation at 24 years old.
We all started somewhere.
Yeah, believe me. So
we started there 3 years ago.
It's pretty borderline as it is. So now, Patricia says on Friday, May 28th, which is where we're talking, 1999, she went to Falmouth on Cape Cod with her son and her family and the people that she lived with at her house. And they were going to go spend Memorial Day weekend with her parents who lived out there, were spending the weekend out there. So that was the plan. She went and did that. Jeremy stayed home in Fall River. He said that he didn't want to go to Cape Cod because of all the holiday traffic, which does sound like a nightmare on a Memorial Day weekend.
I did it for Labor Day this year. I know what he's saying.
Brutal.
It's horrible.
You don't want to do anything like that here. He also was supposed to work Friday and Saturday. He works in construction. He's scheduled to work both days.
Got it.
So she was mad at him, but at the same time, he's supposed
you got a kid. He's responsible.
He's supposed to work.
Let him stay home.
He's gonna, I can't go to the beach and hang out with your family. Sorry.
See you when you get back.
Anyway, that was the reason. He didn't want to go because of the traffic, and he didn't have to go because he had to work anyways. Like, look, I don't want to go and I have to work. Right. Talk about forcing it. Jesus Christ. The shit here.
We have nothing to even talk about. I'm not going.
We live with, quote, several members of your family, it says in these court documents that haven't happened yet. Now, I feel like I should be making as much cash as possible. If you're going to go out there, I'm going to lose my day's pay and we're going to piss money away at the beach? No.
We need some walking around money.
What are we doing here?
Somebody's got to finance your little trip.
Absolutely. Now, Jeremy is not quite your most upstanding citizen going. No. He has charges pending against him still that are filed that he's waiting on court action from October of 1997.
Jesus.
So about a year and a half earlier here, where he is accused, he's facing charges of kidnapping, carjacking, and assault and battery in the town of Barnstable.
Those are heavy.
In Barnstable, I guess. Kidnapping, carjacking, and assault and battery are that's some shit that happens where?
In Compton.
In Compton,
in
Jimmy.
Big Compton.
In
real Compton.
And not in Little Compton, because that happens somewhere else. See? Doesn't happen in Little Compton. Little Compton, you can't fit in the car. Like, oh shit, never mind. I can't fit. No, it's cool. I can't fit in there. You got that, Teensy.
Enjoy your Power Wheels.
You got that, Teensy. Rims spinning.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Barnstable, is that up in Massachusetts?
I think it's in Massachusetts. Yeah. There, he's accused of hiding in the back seat of a car while the driver was inside of a store.
What?
Then when she came back to the car, she sat in the driver's seat and he popped out and grabbed her and told her to drive off.
He's one of those assholes.
The scariest fucking thing.
Right.
And I'm not, this isn't a sexist thing. I believe every woman worries that someone is hiding, and every guy too. I always look at my shit too, but I'm not worried about being raped is the only difference. That's
right.
Women, I think it's a different fear.
That asshole's the reason that car manufacturers made keyless entry.
Yes.
And when you unlock, the fucking dome light turns off.
Exactly.
Because of this dickhead.
This is everybody's fear. This is, throughout how many cases start like this with somebody hiding in a back seat. That's a monster person. If you do that, you're capable of anything in the world. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him at this point in time.
Have you ever been in somebody's car and they're not in it?
No.
It feels so weird
not
and unwelcoming.
Unless they said, hey, sit in my car and wait for me. I'll be right there. Never against their will, never without specific instructions to. I never just said, I'm going to sit in this dude's car for a while. It's never happened in my life.
I did it on accident walking out of a convenience store. The dude parked the same color truck next to my truck. Terrible. And not even looking. I walked out of the door, just clicked it, and the clicker, I didn't even hear it.
I tried to open doors that weren't mine. It just never worked. If it worked, I probably would have got in.
It was open. I climbed in, and I went to go put my key in, and breathing in, I smelled the car, and I was like, that's not my, why does it smell like that?
Different, yeah.
And I'm like, what is that dash mat? What are these, what's this shit? This isn't my fucking car.
What is this? I don't drink 72-ounce Circle K drinks. What's happening?
And then the guy came out and had his hands up and like,
ma'am, who are you? You're not my wife. What's going on? Sorry.
And then I got out of the truck and I'm just like, I'm so sorry, that one's mine. And he goes, oh yeah, and then he started laughing, but I was like, this is not funny at all.
Yeah, you have key. You're obviously not trying to steal it.
Also, your truck smells terrible.
Also, what is that smell? I apologize again to
your wife in the passenger seat's dead, sir.
She did show me her tits, though, which I don't know if that was out of fear or if she's just an exhibitionist and that's what you guys are into. You park next to similar trucks, try to lure a man in, and then she flashes her tits. Next thing you know, I'm fucking her and you're jerking it in the corner. I know how this shit works, sir. I've been around the block a couple of times. I understand your scam and your setup, and I'm not going for it.
I sit down, she puts her feet on the dash. This is very weird.
Yeah, no good. No good. Now,
and parted the bush. Sorry, I'm taking it too far now.
That's okay. It's fine. He took it too far by hiding in someone's back seat.
That's horrible.
That's horrible. And it's not even like he then was like, thanks for the ride and got out. Mm-hmm. She managed to break free and leap from the moving car as she pulled into the parking lot of a restaurant to try to get people's attention.
So that's dead serious.
That's the only way that she got away. Right. We have no idea what his intentions were.
Unreal.
I assume not good.
Right.
You don't just do that for a ride. No. That is not how that works. You try hitchhiking first, I would imagine, or whatever, but that's not a ride situation.
No.
He was taking her there somewhere to do something bad to her. So, not cool, this guy, right away. So this is a nice person to be hooked up with and have in your home with your family and have a child with as well.
That guy's a father.
He's a father, yeah. Wow. Patricia making some bad decisions being with this guy, and he making some bad decisions with pretty much probably everything he does.
Shortly thereafter, mind you.
Yeah.
Shortly after that thing happened, she may have been dating him at the time.
At the time, yeah. They already have a child, and this happened a year and a half before. Wow. So, I mean, unless he, met her right then and knocked her up immediately and they had a kid, they probably knew of each other. So, very, very strange deal here, obviously. Now, I guess he, on Saturday, May 29th, he gets home from work, back to 1999 here. On Saturday, May 29th, he gets home from work, apparently, and And she was still in Cape Cod. Patricia was still in Cape Cod, and she spoke with Jeremy several times on the phone that evening when he got home. She says she talked to him in the late afternoon a few times, and then a few more times throughout the evening. She said about 10 o'clock, 10:30 is the last time they talked on the phone. So that was that. And then she was going to go to bed. Long day at the beach with the kid and the family and the barbecue and the crabs and the clams, and you know how it is.
Oh, God, it's so great up
It's
there.
beautiful.
It really is.
Sitting on a cliff laughing at the world. You know how it goes.
You don't have any cell phone reception. The beach I went to, you had to call on a goddamn telephone pole with a phone, and it only goes to the cab service.
Service.
It's the most
like you're in
prehistoric shit.
Like you're in Jamaica or some shit, like in the middle, like
what do you want to go on?
Rural Jamaica.
Right.
Oh, you have to call the one cab service. That's all we have. Like, what?
They got a monopoly because they don't have money to wherewithal to build a fucking phone to them.
It's either that or you walk through the jungle.
Best of luck,
a lot of animals in there, and jungle things will eat you. So good luck. I don't know.
The Pilgrims landed here first, and then they boarded their ship and sailed south. So you want to stick around here?
So, see what happens. Ever seen Pirates of the Caribbean? That works. So apparently they were arguing the whole evening because why not? You know what I mean? This sounds like that type of relationship. Apparently they're arguing throughout several phone calls, but they keep talking to each other.
Yeah.
You're here, she's there, just go. What are we fighting about?
It's that relationship.
Yeah, they're going back and forth. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So
been there. But I had legal documents that were forcing me to be there.
I've been a part of you being there before.
It's a good time, isn't it?
I'm doing something right now, please.
I am fucking busy.
I'm busy. I have to record. So, she also said that his demeanor was, quote, very hostile, which they're fighting overnight. And he would probably go, you were the one who was hostile. And she's like, no, it was you. Well, you started. And then it would go from there as a relationship works.
Also, this is a guy that hides in back seats and hijacks women. So
I'm going to take her side.
I'm on her side already.
Oh, absolutely.
Right out of the gate. He's being a dick.
Any confrontation he has with a woman, I'm worried for her safety, and I'm on her side.
Absolutely.
Just based on pure past history. She could be a monster.
Right.
I don't know. We're barely into the story. We don't know. She could end up murdering 8 people.
And it could have been a Ben Stiller moment, too, where the hijacking that he didn't mean to, and he, climbed into the car, then saw a gun and picked it up.
He's just a charming bumbler, you mean, Jimmy? He's
just bumbling as fuck.
It's like an Adam Sandler movie.
Giving him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know the guy.
It turns out like Christy Swanson and Charlie Sheen.
Fucking The Chase.
And that's how it is.
She's
on his,
And then she went crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
She got that lion blood? What is it? Adonis DNA? She's a lunatic.
I don't know what it is, but she ate some batshit seeds, and she grew up into a healthy nutbag tree.
She rubbed guano on those teeth.
Out of her mind.
Sweet fuck, is she crazy.
So, they argued the whole time. Mm-hmm. So, over the whole night. Argue, phone, argue. Just what a good vacation.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fun Memorial Day. In addition, chasing a kid around the beach, the family's there. Yay.
And then
Life
on the phone, too.
On the phone, which is always more fun. Also, she said it was clear that he'd been drinking the whole time. So he's hostile and drunk and arguing on the phone. But he did speak coherently. He wasn't slurring his words. He didn't seem like, are you okay? Are you about to fall down? It wasn't anything like that. He was just, he's not stumbling. He's not, she's not, he's not going to, he's not doing one of those. Yeah, he's just clearly a little drunk and hostile. I don't know. Just construction worker after work kind of drunk, maybe. I'm not sure how that works. Right. So anyway.
He probably did say you bitch.
Yeah, he's like, listen, bitch.
He just said, listen, bitch. Yeah, come home.
Like, he only says that when he's drinking. Right. So he also ends up seeing a neighbor of his who's 17 years old, a girl named Kelly Stokes, who's a neighbor of his there, lives right by there. She says Saturday night he was hanging out in a neighbor's yard, and so was she. It was like everybody was socializing in the yard till 1 or 1:30 in the morning, including teenagers, adults.
He's drinking around teenagers?
Drinking and,
weird.
Not only drinking, she says that he was drinking both rum and beer, which he shared with all the teenagers as well, because he's a classy guy.
He's cool.
He's a classy guy. Yeah. Kids, I have rum. Come on. She said that before he got there, she and her friends were smoking weed, and that when he got there, he said, do you have any more weed? Mm-hmm. And they didn't. So she said that he said, can you get me more weed? Mm-hmm. So she said that her and one of her friends were making some phone calls trying to get weed for the weird older guy who just gave us rum.
That's bizarre.
Which is just gross. I don't want, that's just creepy as shit. So, she also says that as she was walking home following this gathering, the 17-year-old, he asked her to go with him. He said, do you want to come home and hang out with me at my house? No. So he tried to pick up a 17-year-old from the neighborhood.
After he asked her to get him weed.
Not even a random one. No. One that lives up the street. He said, hey, you want to hang out with me? So now he's trying to bang, high school juniors. Yeah. So this is a problem.
This is awful.
This is not great.
No.
This is whether you're in the back seat or face to face, not okay with a high school junior. Yeah. So they walk. She says, no, thanks. You're weird and old and have kids and, drink rum, and I'm okay. I'm all right on that.
You're a father.
You can't even get weed. She got the creepy vibe. Yeah. You asked me for weed. How useless are you? You live with that lady's parents and you can't get weed.
Right.
How am I supposed to expect you to provide anything? You can't even provide marijuana for my child.
Are you a loser or not, sir?
Fucking loser.
Commit.
God damn you. Jesus Christ. So on Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m., he calls Patricia and says, you know what? Driving down to Cape Cod. Changed my mind.
Yeah.
Getting on down there. I don't know how I've missed this whole weekend. I'm sure it's been just absolutely magical.
Yeah.
And I've missed everything. So I'll be coming down, doing some clam bacon.
Yeah. I'm going to come down just in time to hit
come home.
Horrible traffic to come home.
Well, it's going the opposite way, the traffic.
Well, when you come home, it's going to be going
terrible.
right the fuck
Absolutely
with it.
Terrible. Yeah, no
I'm going to come down there. I'm going to have a smooth ass ride there. Then coming home,
over.
I'm going to come down to be aggravated as fuck.
Yeah,
that's
we're
what I
just
want.
Hang out for a few hours and then come right back. So she was like, okay. Yeah. He arrived between 9:30 and 10 a.m. and she said he arrived, said hello, threw up, and then proceeded to go to bed and fall asleep and remain there for the rest of the day, sleeping. So
I'm going to come down to throw up and take a nap.
I'm going to come over, I'm going to puke, and I'm going to throw up and then just lay down and chill out for a while. And he told her that he'd stayed home all night Saturday drinking. Didn't mention going and hanging out with teenagers, trying to pick up a 17-year-old as a detail you're obviously going to leave out.
Yeah.
I tried to, but damn it, she's a prude. The kids at her school were right. That shit carved on her locker, they weren't kidding. I'll tell you what, she doesn't give up a goddamn thing.
They nailed it.
They really did. They said, don't even bother. So that's how that works. So she said that they didn't leave. They stayed until Monday morning because it's Memorial Day weekend, so they have the Monday off.
Yeah.
So Monday morning at about 8:30 in the morning is when they left and got home. And they get home to find the Rhode Island State Police are at their door.
Yeah.
Which is not what you want to arrive home to, generally, from a weekend vacation. Yeah. And they're there to say, hey, we'd like to talk to Jeremy a little bit.
Yeah.
And she was like, is this about the case, the old case, when he hid in a woman's back seat to, God, at the very least kill her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then God knows what else. Is this about that? They said, oh no, this is something else we need to discuss. We need to figure out your whereabouts on May 29th and 30th, Saturday and Sunday, because that's kind of important here. Because on Sunday morning, May 30th, this is 24 hours earlier. This is right when he said he was going to come down to Cape Cod. A woman named Angela Spence Shaw, who's 66 years old and lives in Little Compton, Little Compton here. She's a widower. She did not show up for work that morning. And so a friend of hers named Sally went to her house to check on her because she's very, very reliable, Angela. And upon her arrival, she finds that Angela is dead, and obviously severely beaten and in the upstairs bathtub submerged in water.
Oh, no.
Not only that, there's an electric hairdryer in the bathtub plugged in.
What?
So there's that. So
nobody blow dries their hair in the tub.
Not usually.
No.
That's kind of a known thing, so
that's a dry activity.
That's a dry activity. And so this person unplugs the bath. Obviously, you can't reach in there. You're going to destroy your...
Right?
Yeah, if the breaker and circuit hasn't already gone.
Oh,
but
it's probably popped.
I'm sure after it, zapped, whoever. So, so she calls, obviously, the police to figure this out. She doesn't just go, oh, well, tough night, I guess, and go... Angela had a rough night.
Was she out partying?
She said she had a date and they were into some kinky shit, but this is ridiculous. She's drowned and electrocuted. So this poor woman, man, here, Angela Spence Shaw, 66 years old, like I said, in the tub. Once the police come, they determine that she had been savagely beaten, is the way they put it, and also sexually assaulted before she died as well. The medical examiner here attributes her death to drowning in bathwater, as well as substantial blunt force trauma.
Jesus.
So, either one.
Yeah.
One of those things.
Beat the shit out of her while she's drowning. That's fucking horrific.
Kind of one and then the other, as we'll find out here. It's very strange. Her home is not trashed.
Yeah.
It's not destroyed.
It's not ransacked.
Nothing like that. Her wallet is there. She has cash that she keeps in a ceramic box on her bedroom dresser, which is more than $500 in cash.
Still there.
Untouched.
Wow.
So that's an odd thing. Normally anything with a stranger, you're going to take money that's lying out, obviously, or robbery if the robbery is the original motive here. Also, her jewelry has left undisturbed, both on her body and on her on her dresser and in her personal effects. So it's very, very strange right away. They're like, okay, it's almost on purpose leaving this stuff behind. It's out in the open. Yeah. Like you would, even if you didn't mean to rob the police, I want to kill an old lady, or not an old lady, but I would like to.
66, an old lady.
It's not old. It's older. It's older. Nowadays,
99?
66 is pretty.
You're 99?
Yeah, 99 still. I don't know. For nowadays, 66 is a different 66. Because, my grandparents were.
It's a woman born in 33, though.
Yeah, that feels old. But back then, I don't know. She's very vibrant, though. She works and moves and does things. She has a social life. She's not a rocking chair.
Oh, yeah. You can be super active at 66.
66 is an age where you can be either, there are people that are 66 that are done and they're in elderly, and then there's 66-year-olds where they act like they're 30.
Right.
And they, so you never know.
I think 66 now, I don't think you can even be retired at that, to draw Social Security. You can be retired at fucking any age.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Yeah, I know
I think you have to be older than
I'm
66 now to draw. That's crazy.
No, so
I guess it is young.
It's pretty young, is what I mean. Yeah, so she's working, she's doing shit. So it's just it's a strange thing though. Anytime you're gonna, even if that was your desire just to kill this woman, you would think, they're thinking, maybe you just swipe a pile of cash. Yeah. Maybe not jewelry because that can be linked or whatever, but a pile of cash. I mean, who doesn't take a pile of cash?
I mean, if you just murdered somebody,
weird.
Have a look around.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Or you would notice it. It's one of those
things.
There's
nobody else here, obviously.
Yeah. Also, no signs of forced entry, which is strange as well. But they do find in her bedroom, which is she's found in the master bathroom in the tub. So her master bedroom, there was a lot of, you could see that there had been a violent struggle that had taken place. There's puddles of blood on both the bed and the floor. And there's also blood stains on the carpet leading into the bathroom. So it's pretty clear what happened here. Attack took place here, taken over to here. One of those. There's also blood on the bedroom furniture and on the walls. And a lot of concentration of blood on the wall behind the bed and on the wall and door frame leading into the bathroom.
So it happened in the bedroom.
So it happened in the bedroom and then went in there. The bed had been moved away from the wall and also stripped of all its linens, and a blood-stained pillow and pillowcase were found on the floor nearby. So he tore all that off and took the linens off, obviously. And I say he because this doesn't sound like a typical...
Very rarely. That's one of
this is not a... normal female on female crime, especially with the sexual assault here. You're not going to find a lot of that. So a lot of blood, a lot of action, a lot of an attempt at some kind of cover up. They believe, that they're thinking that the bathtub thing might be an attempt at washing away trace evidence, basically.
That makes sense.
That's the thought here, because they said the blunt force trauma would have been enough. When she is found, Angela here, she had on only a pink nightshirt, and she was naked below the waist. Now, one of the first responders here knew her and very well from around town. It's a small town, as we've talked about. And he said that even though he knew her well, she was beaten so severely that she was unrecognizable to him.
Unreal.
So this is a savage beating. This isn't one knock on the head.
Right.
This is a sustained, savage beating that somebody decided to inflict on this woman who, I mean, she doesn't have any enemies.
Right. This seems super personal. She's
a very nice 66-year-old lady that this seems very personal of this attack here. So there's the chief medical examiner here, a Dr. Elizabeth Lopesada, and she said she performed the autopsy and said that gave into the extensive injuries, talked about the horrific internal injuries, which were visible, and tons of internal injuries from this beating as well. Also found that her genital area was
beaten up pretty heavily.
Yes, let's just say that there was definitely forced sexual intercourse.
Got it.
As she said in her report here. She said those injuries were inflicted while she was still alive.
Good God.
So he's not a necrophiliac, whoever this person is, and she also will testify later on to the whole thing that she was still alive when she was placed underwater following this beating. So it's a beating, a rape, and then a drowning, just to make it as horrible as possible. No,
she's a fighter. God,
she did. She fought. I mean, she fought as hard as she could, but obviously this was a superior physical force, and also probably took her by surprise on top of it. I mean, if somebody pops up in your bedroom, you don't expect them to. Right. What are you supposed to do? I mean, that's a crazy thing. So she also said that during basically she was never unconscious during this attack. They didn't think either. They thought that basically this poor woman felt and knew everything that was going on. Jeez. Never just went out and then was dragged around. So they did obviously a rape kit on her to collect any kind of physical evidence they might get. They did that. They found seminal fluid and sperm cells were present in both the vaginal and rectal area.
God damn it.
There. And so they said that based on the contents of her stomach, the medical examiner estimates that she probably died between 1 and 3 a.m. on Sunday morning, late Saturday night. That's what they're thinking here. This freaks everybody out, as you might imagine, as it would anywhere, but in a town like this shit doesn't happen in someone's own home.
Sneak attack at that time of the night.
No
That's
enemies.
the most vulnerable hour that just about everybody is.
That's every single person's nightmare. We've just named 2 nightmare scenarios.
Absolutely.
Getting in your car after running into a store and having someone hiding in your backseat and accosting you. Or B,
1 o'clock in the morning,
you're
in your
sleeping
own bed.
in your own home.
Oh, Jesus.
Where you're supposed to be safe, especially in a safe little town like this. And then someone breaking in and being as brutally horrible as they could possibly be.
That right there is why you have 2 giant guns you can pet.
Well, yeah. Named Benny and Frankie.
Right.
Yeah.
And why I have, you could pet my gun if you want. It won't respond.
This is why
you have weapons.
This is why
fucking
this
horrific.
is why we do ads for Simply Safe, honestly. And I'm not even trying to shill a thing.
No.
We got that for our house because we read enough stories like this. You start to go, well, I don't want to get that to happen. It happens. So this is scary shit. This is why people have security systems and everything else. This is scary. This is the ultimate nightmare.
Right.
And this is the first murder in Little Compton in 34 years.
My word.
So this is what I mean. This doesn't
happen.
The last murderer was wearing fucking tie-dye.
Yeah.
Tie-dye and
it was in the late 60s. Early 60s.
Acid was still legal at the last time. I'm not even kidding. LSD was still legal during the last time a murder happened here. That's how crazy this shit is. Hunter Thompson wasn't bald yet. You know what I'm talking about? That's how fucking long ago this was.
Yeah.
Very long. So Vietnam was not even as big a deal.
It was just a whisper.
It was going on.
There was a skirmish.
People were pissy, but it was like 2 colleges people were complaining. Everyone else was like, what's happening over there? I don't know. Where's John and Paul and Ringo? What's going on there? That's what it is.
About blackbirds.
Yeah, tell me something. So now they're looking into it a little bit. Who could have done this to this poor fucking woman?
I can't imagine.
Well, they look into it a little bit, and they find out right away that Angela here was in the process of renovating her home at this moment. So that's something. That's more people coming over the house. And on Friday, May 28th, this is obviously 2 days before she is killed, a construction crew had broken through a wall of her house as starting the process of putting an extension, an addition on her home. So basically, the whole weekend she had a giant gaping hole in her wall with a tarp over it.
Right.
So where anybody on earth could have just gone, hey, there's a house in here, and walk in. There absolutely no. She might as well have been sleeping in the yard.
Sure.
She would have been safer because then people would have at least seen her out there.
Right.
Literally, if she slept in the middle of her front yard,
maybe
she would have
heard
been
her screams.
She would have been safer because at least she would have been out in the open.
Less weapons.
But this is the worst case scenario. She was a sitting duck, and it also then they go, well, shit, that could be anybody at this point. They're not like, there's no forced entry. Maybe she has a guy that she dated for a while that had a key to the house, and maybe he came up. You know what I mean? That takes all that narrowing they could have done from that and makes it disappear. Gone. They're now in with, I don't know, anyone who has legs, pretty much.
Right.
People in a wheelchair probably couldn't get through that hole. So we're going to go anyone who's an able-bodied walker, pretty much.
That's your suspect list.
Probably a guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know, 50% of our population of the town.
We found semen. We can go ahead and just discount any woman.
It's not going to be a woman.
No.
Probably.
She may have been an accomplice.
We don't know, but
we'll start with the dudes.
Yeah. So this is terrible. Anybody that drove by could see a tarp blowing and all. I mean, it was pretty obvious. So, and it was warm. It was May, so it wasn't like it was, covered heavily in the cold or anything like that. So, they're a little bit worried. They look around, they see, okay, we'll start with the construction crew who put the hole in the wall, maybe because they would know the most that the hole was in the wall. So they do that. They go to this construction crew, and guess who's a member of the 3-man crew who did that? Our friend Jeremy.
No.
He's a member of that 3-man crew.
This sounds like his MO. Some chicken shit.
Sneak
attack?
Hiding with a lady, sneak attack. He can't even face a lady face to face. An older lady, he can't face to face. Someone this is the most chicken shit you can possibly get.
A real pussy move.
Yeah, this is a guy who is not going to do well in prison.
No,
because what he did is something that if he goes to prison, he's a guy who
frowned upon,
at least for the carjacking, is what things shit he did is frowned upon. And I don't feel like he's got real good confrontational skills with other men.
No.
I feel like people just beat the shit out of him, and that'll be that. So they do a little investigation. There's a detective sergeant here, Stephen Bannon. He is with the State Police Major Crimes Unit.
Yeah.
He's assigned to work on this investigation.
He's got a 5 o'clock shadow.
Oh, he looks angry.
That's a guy that's just grizzled.
I've been up for 72 hours tracking down the murderer of a little girl, and now this.
I won't sleep until he's found.
I won't sleep until that son of a bitch is behind bars.
Chewing on a cigar that's not even lit. He smoked that 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
He's still chewing on it.
Tiny pad of paper in his hand. That son of a bitch. Tie loosened because he's been up for 3 days. He's still got it on, but it's like crooked and loosened. His flat top's
He's angry.
It's a little flatter than normal. He's just very upset.
He's super discount and super tired Detective Tench. That's what he is.
Bitch. That's what he is. I picture this character from the Homicide David Simon book. That's exactly who I picture. Been up for 3 days working. So he starts doing a little work, and he interviews Jeremy. And Jeremy said that he worked on Saturday until about 3 o'clock. He went home. He argued with his girlfriend on the phone for a while and drank a bunch of beer and some rum and went to sleep.
Yeah.
That's all he did. That's his story. So they're like, all right, there's that.
Story.
I mean, it's a bad story, home alone drinking.
Right.
But he didn't say, well, I went over her house. I didn't kill her, though, which is, that would be the,
Didn't put himself at the crime scene.
Put himself nowhere, said, don't know what you're talking about, home drinking. Right. So when that happens, they go, all right, they can't say anything unless they have some physical evidence or something else, a witness. Yeah. So,
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure,
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
He says that he remained home all night. He only left to socialize in the front yard with some teenagers.
Right.
And he tells them he was there till about midnight. In reality, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. But he says it's about midnight, hanging out with some kids, contributing to their delinquency. You know how that goes. The huge. What do you do on Saturday night? I look around for children to give rum to. And then ask them if they can get me weed.
And fingers crossed.
Because shit's weird around here. You know how it goes, right? So, he said then he went home, and that was that. Mm-hmm. No big deal. He also tells them that after leaving the teenagers, he called his friend Chris Taylor, who he used to work with at he calls this guy at 1 a.m. This poor bastard gets a drunken 1 a.m. phone call from him. And then he says after that, he fell asleep and that was it. Mm-hmm. That's all. So they ask, obviously, his Patricia, his girlfriend here, where the hell was she all weekend? Can you back this up? And she says, no, I haven't. But and apparently she says after the police left, Jeremy was very interested in finding out from Patricia what they asked her as well. So he's very much worried about this whole situation, as anyone would be, no matter how innocent or guilty you would be. Yeah. If anyone comes to your house, starts asking you homicide questions, you're worried. Yeah. You're like, oh shit, I've seen bad things happen. Yeah. You know, who knows? I mean, Making a Murderer was a documentary that was interesting because he didn't do it the first time. That's why it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? That's the hook. Shit happens. So, so a few days later now, June 3rd, this Detective Bannon, who sounds very old school. Now he's back. He's fresh. He's got a fedora on. Yeah. Fresh cigar. Yeah. His office, when you open the door, it goes to black and white. It's very weird. Yeah. It's a strange thing.
Lots of brute on him.
His secretary, a lot of cleavage. A lot of cleavage.
They look great.
And everyone's smoking in the office. It's pretty much, it's like black and white Mad Men. That's how it's going on here.
Very bulbous on her chest.
Very huge.
So round.
It's, you know how it goes. It's the 60s, Jimmy. What do you want? So he goes to the job site, this detective, where Jeremy is working. This is the second time he's going to talk to him now. And at that time, he says that this detective says Jeremy gets a little inconsistent with him. Yeah. And starts saying some shit that's not quite what he said before, what he said on his home there. He says that on June 3rd, this is what he said he did that day. Yeah. Jeremy says that he went to a bar after work on May 29th, not went home and drank beer, and that he remained there until about 6 o'clock, which is 3 hours that he said completely other thing. He said something else about. He also tells him that on June 3rd, tells him this on June 3rd about the night in question, that he spoke with Patricia on the phone, his girlfriend, more than once, and that is, he told them at first he only talked to her once. Yeah. But they talked a bunch of times anyway, and then now he says they talked a bunch of times. He said he ordered a pizza to be delivered from Domino's, which he got shit pizza. Oh, Jesus, like, I like shit pizza. I'm sorry. I don't know. I just like it.
Sometimes after a loss with the wife on the phone, I like to just really bask in the defeat with the Domino's.
I get one of them deep dishes. Yeah. They're terrible. Let me tell you something. I get one. It's just it's like eating a rolled up sock with cheese on it. And I get one of those and just stuff it in my face, pass out, and I hope I have a heart attack by morning. That's what I do. I say that should clog it up enough to kill me.
And when I don't have a heart attack and I wake up at 6 a.m. with heartburn that lasts until 4 p.m. I know that I really deserved this.
And now,
and granted, she was right, and I've learned the lesson.
She's usually right. But granted, I did have the heartburn all day because what I do when I woke up, I ate more of it that I had left on the counter since last night too. It wasn't even in the fridge or nothing, so I don't even. It could be bad.
That's disgusting.
The cheese was hard by then, but it wasn't like cold. Right. It was just hard and room temperature, which I don't think is how cheese should be.
That is the worst pizza on earth.
Usually, cheese gets softer as it warms up, not harder. So I think there's a problem.
And I've eaten that so many times.
We all have eaten that terrible shit. Of course. And he said not only did he talk to Chris Taylor, he talked to another friend of his that night as well. So now his story is changing here. He says the detective says, well, why'd you call your friend? And he goes, I don't really want to talk about it. And he goes, listen, dude, murder. And you see, I'm homicide. You see what that is?
There's a body, sir.
I don't know. This isn't like a fucking like an insurance investigation.
I'm not here to help you
around.
Find weed or 17-year-olds.
Don't care.
Just here for the body.
Who and when died, and who killed him. So, so he says, all right, fine. He admits that he called his friend to get some weed. Yeah. Says, I called my friend to get some weed, and he says, but he was home sleeping between midnight and 8:30 a.m. on Sunday morning when this murder took place. He also, on June 3rd, the day of this interview, after this interview, he goes home and asks Patricia something a little odd. He said, can you bring the shoes that I wear at home to Cape Cod with you? Okay? And she said, why would you do that? And he said, I can't tell you. A pair of shoes I wear around the house. Can you take those to Cape Cod with you?
That's questionable.
Just keep them out in Cape Cod because I just don't want to have them around the house.
Toss those shits in the ocean.
Very strange. Just
nice,
if you could just tie an anvil to them and maybe drop them off a boat about 1.5 miles from shore in international waters, that'd be terrific. No reason.
Could you maybe
no reason.
feed those to a giant cod?
Yeah, if you just stuff bait inside of them, they'll probably rip through the fabric to get to it, I'm sure. So now 2 days earlier, before this June 3rd interview, he and the other construction workers were present at Angela Spence Shaw's house. They showed up after that to work. Obviously, they didn't know she was dead. Wink, wink. Mm-hmm. They noticed a box marked Rhode Island State Police that appeared to contain a foot impression.
Yeah.
This was 2 days before he told his girlfriend to take my shoes that I wear around the house to Cape Cod with you.
Yeah.
So this is all very, very odd fucking stuff here. So odd requests here. So she said she did. She brought the shoes to take to Cape Cod.
Why would she do that?
I don't know. Like there's no reason to, but I guess there's no reason not to. But they'd already been questioned about a murder. So at that point I go, what? This is all real weird. You've never asked me to dispose of shoes before. Why are you doing it now? So he questions on June 5th. Police go back and Jeremy and two other construction workers gave foot impressions to the police. So, but I mean, who knows what shoes they have now, but they're just checking to see sizes, I guess, and that sort of thing. Now, she brought the shoes to Cape Cod as requested, but she later took them back to Fall River, left them in a bag in the toy room of the apartment that she shared with him.
Without him knowing.
On June 24th, the police came to speak with her and to execute a search warrant, and she said, "You probably want those shoes that are in the toy room."
He goes, "You bitch.
Fucking son of a bitch." So the police end up finding the shoes hidden in behind a dresser in the toy room
and
there.
He's on the phone with Domino's.
And he's like,
he just took the
I'm trying Papa John's. I hear it's worse. I hear it's way worse. I'm doing that now, too.
I am taking the L.
I'm going to just take the L. That's what you should, from now on, if you ever just decide to order Papa John's, that's known as taking the L. You're just going to take the L on the night. Fuck it. I'm going to eat shit food that I don't like, that'll make me feel terrible, and I'm going to go to sleep and hope I wake up dead. That's how it works.
I'm going to dip it in that buttery, gross shit.
That fucking butter jizz sauce, and I'm going to fucking put it in my disgusting face.
My disgusting, deserving face of this
just look
shit.
At it. Look at that. Yeah, there's chunks of parsley in that jizz sauce. That's good stuff. That's what you want. Yay.
Yeah. When you fight with your significant other, that should be their loss dish.
Yeah, here you go. That's how you know you lost.
Fight,
You're eating
Get
Papa
on the
John's.
phone with Papa John.
Enjoy. Or eat it, I should say. There's no chance of enjoying it because it is hot garbage. If you like Papa John's, that's the only pizza you've ever eaten, I assume. You should open your horizons and eat better pizza.
What's your second favorite? Lunchables?
Lunchables. What's your second favorite?
Jerk.
A homeless man's underwear with peanut butter and a slice of cheddar cheese that he calls pizza? Is that your third favorite? Because they're pretty similar. Pretty similar.
Stop ruining pizza.
Jesus goddamn Christ.
And when you eat it, you are ruining it because you're contributing to what the fuck is out there.
They're just going to keep making more. The more you eat, the more. If you stop eating it, either it'll go away or they'll improve it. That's how shit works.
That's it.
You notice how Domino's, every once in a while, they change brand new formula. That's because their sales were in the toilet.
Nobody bought it.
Shit. And they're like, let's make a new one. And then people go, oh, it's new. And even though it's still terrible, they buy it for a while until it tanks and they have another new recipe. That's how it works.
They will make it better if you don't buy it.
Same with movies. If you stop seeing shit, they'll stop making shit. That's how it works. Actually, nowadays, that's not true because no matter what you're seeing, a shitload of people in China will watch things explode and understand very basic dialogue that has no, nuance of English behind it. That's why when you listen
That's why Adam Sandler's successful.
Well, not even Adam Sandler. It's action. It's comic book movies, action movies.
That's why there's so many Fast and Furious.
Look at what they do overseas. They don't care if you go to see it or not. It's not for you anymore.
They're going to make the money either way.
They're not making it for you.
There are many more people over there.
That's it, and they spend a lot of money on shit movies. So, but we can't blame the nation of China for bad pizza over here. We cannot blame them.
They are not having that shit delivered.
That is strictly Peyton Manning and Shaquille O'Neal's fault.
That's on us. We took the L.
Just us. We took the L as a nation. Said, sell us shit pizza, sports stars.
Right.
I liked watching you dunk. I guess I'll eat crap because you recommended it. Sounds good. Shaq looks like he'd eat anything.
Right.
I don't want food
and he
recommends.
has.
He'll eat anything.
Right.
To maintain his size, you have to eat a lot.
Right.
You just eat whatever's in your orbit, I would think.
Yeah.
He does. He does, absolutely.
Right.
He thinks that, remember the Cinnaburst with the wrappers?
Right.
He thinks that's all food.
It's just everything.
It's a bag of Doritos, everything. He doesn't care. Doesn't matter to him.
His favorite are the Gardettos.
It's good spice on the bag.
It's good.
It keeps it behind.
Washes it down.
It's nice. Yeah, Cracker Jack box too. It's still sweet.
Absolutely.
He likes that. So,
Fiddle-faddle.
Who doesn't want some? I don't like fiddle-faddle, honestly.
No? I love that
I want
shit.
Peanuts in that shit.
What is it? What's in that?
Not peanuts.
Is it pecans?
It's just butter toffee shit, I think.
I think you're right.
Crunch and Munch has the
that's
peanuts in
the
it.
one.
It's Crunch and Munch is like classy Cracker Jacks.
Yeah.
Cracker Jacks is garbage.
Fiddle-faddle's shit, too, then.
Cracker Jacks is like someone's diarrhea sprayed over some terrible popcorn.
Well, it's from the fucking 30s.
It's terrible.
Right.
And it's the same
recipe.
They made one batch in the 30s, and they're still just doling it out in boxes. That's why the peanuts are like rocks.
They got it in a goddamn
garbage.
song.
It's garbage.
At a ballpark, and now they're just...
It tastes like... I've never had a caramel that tastes that terrible before. It's awful. Whereas Crunch and Munch is like... It's caramel. It's like butter and mixed butter toffee. And
that shit's legit.
Better peanut. That shit is good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love that stuff.
What's it called? Crunch and Munch.
Crunch and Munch.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
That's legit.
It's goddamn legit.
Fiddle-faddle. Why do I come with... I don't think I've ever even had fiddle-faddle.
I think you've seen fiddle-faddle somewhere.
Sounds great together. Those are good words.
An old lady offered it to you once.
Crunch and Munch, much better.
Would you like some fiddle-faddle, young man?
No, I would not, ma'am.
Thank you. Or sweet tea.
That
thank
sounds
you.
like a very inappropriate and probably illegal proposition.
Yeah.
Would you like some of this fiddle-faddle, young man? No.
Hey, kiddo.
God, Jesus.
Want some fiddle-faddle? I don't think so. Sounds dangerous.
Where do I stand for that?
Jesus Christ. So we got a coworker of his, Kevin Choquette. He says that he also works on the addition to Angela's house, Miss Spence Shaw's house, and he says that at some point during this period, after a police visit to the job site, that Jeremy told this Kevin that Jeremy was concerned that the police might try to pin this whole thing on him. He goes, I don't like this at all. They're coming around asking us questions. I've been in trouble with the past, my horrific carjacking of a poor woman.
Right.
There's that. So I feel like I'm being looked at here.
Sure.
I feel like they're going to go, who's around that guy? Any records? Oh, look at that record. That fits perfectly. Let's just put it on him.
You know how he does the same fucking thing minus the murder part?
Like, like MO works, popping, surprising. Yeah. It's different, but it's, whatever.
Real goddamn same.
It's actually more, it's more advanced because in a public space, there's more. He said, I need to get this more
And
controlled.
how you got caught last time? And then this time you don't.
Yeah, because the person's dead. That's why you don't let him run away into the night. So this guy here that he worked with, the Kevin Choquette, he said, what are you talking about? He said that Jeremy was near tears with worry and concern over this whole thing. This Kevin said that you got nothing to worry about because you've never even been up there. What are you talking about? None of us have ever been in the house. So what do you care? There's no evidence to pin anything on you. So Jeremy says, actually, I have been in the house, though. I lied to the cops. I actually have used her upstairs bathroom where they found her before to wet my hair under the faucet when we're working because it's hot.
Oh.
So I snuck up there, wet my hair.
Sometimes when I get my hair wet, I come. So
then I also causes murder. The rage. It's a rage come. I get my hair wet and I'm like, and I bust and I'm like, why did I do that in my pants? And then I have to kill somebody. Usually, that's how it works.
Yeah.
You know how it works. Ooh, Jizz Hulk smash. Right. You know how it is.
Wet hair Jizz Hulk. Right.
Wet hair Jizz Hulk. That's our guy here. So he says that this Kevin guy, the guy he worked with, said that during the 3 months that they were working together, he'd never seen this person go in. He'd never seen Jeremy go into the house ever. Use the bedroom, use the bathroom, do anything near except right around the hole where they were working. That was it. He said he never mentioned before that he had used the upstairs bathroom. This is all news to him at this point. Now, a bunch of the people in the construction crew were asked by police to give blood samples so that they could take DNA tests based on on, obviously, the physical evidence collected from her.
Yeah.
So on June 9th, he went voluntarily to St. Anne's Hospital in Fall River and voluntarily gave the Rhode Island State Police a blood sample.
Okay.
So he did that. The supervisor for the Rhode Island Department of Health's Division of Forensic Biology said that she did DNA tests on 23 different blood samples submitted by state police. Mm-hmm. Anybody that's been near that fucking house, sample them up. Yeah. Why not? If they're all willing to, might as well ask them. If they're willing to do it, you don't have to go to court to get the warrant and everything. Might as well get it.
23 of them?
Hey, run them.
Yeah.
Run them through. Let's find out what matches up. That's what's if you had 23 sets of fingerprints, you'd run them all too.
Sure.
Shit, run them down.
There's a 23andMe joke there somewhere.
Yeah. You get it.
Right.
And there's also more jizz jokes. Right. You know how that works. We're not going to, there's been enough.
That's how you do the whole 23andMe thing,
that's
right?
It. Yeah. Cracker Jacks and Papa John's, they all have jizz on them. Good deal. That's our opinion, allegedly. That's not, we can't say that factually. Obviously, we don't libel these people, but, we've heard.
Right.
People are saying, I think you're allowed to say that based on how politics work. People are telling us that all Papa John's pizzas are smeared with what's called a jizz sheen. They don't announce it to the public, but it's special. It's a special.
It is special because they produce it every time Papa John shoots an elephant.
That's what it is. He shoots an elephant.
He comes everywhere.
And
they bottle it up.
And you know how the crust is shiny? That's not olive oil, everybody. That is a jizz sheen.
Right.
That is coated thoughtfully by Shaquille O'Neal on every single pizza. Personally. It's not his jizz. It's Papa John's jizz, mind you.
Right.
But Shaquille O'Neal brushes it upon. He's the sheener, as they call him. Shaq, we need 3 sheens over here. He's like, oh, Jesus fucking sheen.
I got this.
Hold on a minute now. Where's the vat? Oh, there it is. Okay.
He does it with the paintbrush?
Yeah.
Or like one of those old bug sprayers.
That's,
the one that you go, shh.
Well, he ladles it out from the main vat into another, and then he does it from there with the bug sprayer, like in wrestling when they would spray in your face, like one of those DDT
like
sprayers.
The plunger on the tube that's sideways.
Like when Marlon Brando died in The Godfather. What he was spraying with. Yeah, one of those. like a caulking for, like a caulk gun for pesticides.
Disgusting.
So that was the most disgusting thing we've ever done. We're normally not too deep into that, but that's how awful Papa John's is. I'm sorry.
And him.
This guy is as bad as a jizz-sheened Papa John's pizza. Put it that way. That was taken from the expectorant of an excited poacher. That's what we're talking about here. That's the type of deal we're
I didn't know what that word was until you just used it in that disgusting sentence. It's the most vile way that word's ever been used.
God, Jesus Christ. I was looking for a better way to do it.
That's a horrible word.
And that's what I come out with. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to order Papa John's tonight with extra expectorant. Can I get they're going to go, excuse me? Oh, that little cup that comes with it.
Just go, I'm on the phone. You can't see me, but I'm winking. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean.
Tell Shaq to dip into the vat a little extra with that ladle if you could. That's all I'm saying.
Are you saying you want that extra butter sauce? Yep, that's something like that.
Yeah, that. Sure.
Go ahead.
Wink.
Expectorant. Fucking gross.
Oh my God, that is fucking hard. Okay, back to something somehow even more horrible than that here. So 23 blood samples here. They collected all the samples, as we know. She was able to exclude 22 of the 23 persons who had provided blood samples from being the donor of the DNA. The only person who she's not able to exclude, big shocker, Shaq.
Jeremy.
No, Jeremy. Big shocker, Papa John. Obviously him. No, it's actually Jeremy.
Yeah.
Obviously, as we might notice, they talk about in this statistical probability that it would be somebody else, and it's DNA. So it's pretty slim.
Yeah.
And this is in 1999, 2000. So this isn't like 1991 and the shit's new. They got it down. They've already botched OJ.
Yeah.
They know how to. It's different.
They got some fail safes in place.
They got processes.
Yeah.
If you don't hold this,
right.
You have. I assume every department probably has like an
log.
assigned jizz man.
Yeah.
Any semen, you're going to take care of it. And that way.
The jizz man.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure it's Officer Albert Jizzman.
Right.
And he comes in and they give it to him and he's the protector of it.
Right.
Drives around and I figure like a white Volkswagen Beetle for some reason. It's kind of nebulous. Sorry.
A new one.
A new one. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
A new one.
The dome one.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why. That's the car that Jizzman would drive.
Like flower hubcaps.
Yeah. So,
pollinating the sea.
with what on the back?
Yeah.
A Jesus fish.
That's right.
Because it's So anyway, he's like, I don't care about religion. I just want a fish on
I just
there.
got to bring it.
Something that swims. So they said that after the DNA test is concluded, that's when they come to arrest him at his apartment. That is June 24th. That's when they find the shoes there. That Patricia's like, well, if he's getting arrested anyway, there's those shoes back there that he didn't want you guys to find, apparently. He's interrogated, obviously. They sit him down. He does give police a statement to his whereabouts on the 29th, which is pretty much what he said on June 3rd. Got home, ordered Domino's, hung out with the teenagers for a little while, went to a bar, remained there till 6, went home, ordered Jizz Pizza, had it delivered, talked on the phone with his girlfriend and some of his friends, looked for weed. Then he said he arrived from his home after he got home from the bar, he consumed about 10 12-ounce beers and some rum.
God, that's a lot.
10 cans of beer and some rum over the course of, of 6 hours, he said. But he's already at the bar.
It's quite a bit.
And he pre-gamed at the bar, too. And some rum, we don't know.
How much? Indiscriminate amount?
That's what I mean. Yeah. He says, as we'll get to it, very vague. He says later on, how big was the bottle? And he says, about this big.
Yeah.
So he literally had no measurement of a milliliter or anything like that. He said, about like that.
Yeah.
So it was very strange. He said he stayed home all night and went talked to some teenagers, yada, yada, same old shit. He said he'd never left the area that evening, never traveled to Spence Shaw's home, didn't do any of that. He denied that he sexually assaulted and murdered her. He denies everything. After they get the warrant for him, though, they go and they get him. They collected him and the warrant for his house separately. They went and got him off a work site, then showed up at his house and were like, yeah, we just arrested him, so we're going to tear the house apart.
Smart.
And then, exactly, because then she was like, fuck it, take those shoes. They grab him, they transport him, they question him. Now, it's important here because later on he's going to say they put him in a horrible situation, and he's going to say the interrogation was not okay. It's a 10-by-10 conference room, which is pretty typical for a interrogation room. If you've ever watched the first 48 or anything with police in it. It had one wall. It had on one wall above the eye level an open window 6 to 8 feet long, which is the viewing window there. It had a table and 3 to 5 chairs. Had a phone. He said that he wasn't handcuffed or shackled while in the room. He's free movement. He said he advised him of his Miranda rights, Jeremy of his Miranda rights, and using the printed form, they gave him the evidence. They showed him the warrant that says the DNA evidence and all that sort of thing. They said that he said that after the cop filled out the portion of the form, told him to read the form, he initialed everything, and that's the rights form. After having been informed of my constitutional rights, I understand these rights. I agree to give a statement at this time. And also number 8 on that list, possibly more important, I do not want an attorney called or appointed for me at this time. That says I'm waiving my rights, willing to talk to you. He read through the form. He initialed every line. He did everything like that, said he understood his rights. He signed at the bottom. He said that he had no lack of understanding. They said, do you understand? He said, yes. And then they went on with the questioning. They questioned him from about 4:25 p.m. to 9:40 p.m., which we know is well within the parameters of an okay amount of interrogation time. They basically say after about 8 hours, that's when the courts start getting questiony with confessions, because
you get it or not.
After 10 hours, you can get anyone to confess to anything. They'll say anything to get out of the fuck
out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's at that point. It's
10 by 10.
It's a psychological torture at that point. You think you're never going to get out of there. And I know it's not torture literally, but it's in their heads it is. And people have confessed to shit they didn't do a lot because they've been in there for too long. Usually the first couple hours they don't crack, but after a while, Brendan Dassey just wants to watch WrestleMania, and he'll say fucking anything to go home. That's a fact.
And he didn't go home.
He was like, literally, like, I just get to watch WrestleMania, right? And they're like, yeah, just tell us you killed everybody and everybody's dead, and then WrestleMania is all yours, buddy. Yeah, front row.
Where's Kane?
Yeah, ringside. You're going to be great. Undertaker's going to high five you as he runs by. Don't worry about it.
You're going to have so much Stone Cold beer all over you.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it. So they said the door was closed except for officers coming in and out. Very typical interrogation room.
Yeah.
If you've seen, I don't know, The Wire, or which I know you haven't, but other people may have in this audience, or First 48, or Law and Order, or every police show since the beginning of time, in either dramatized or real. Right. It's the same exact thing. They also gave him pizza, soda, and cigarettes as well. So he could smoke. Yeah. He could drink soda. He ate food.
Pretty nice afternoon.
That's what I mean. It's like a kid's birthday party. Was there bowling?
Was there a pinata too?
Was there a bouncy house here? Because this is going to sound like a great fucking time. So I don't know what's going on. So they give him all the stuff, so he can't say he was deprived of water and food, and he was starving, or he was lightheaded, and They
got him cigarettes, for fuck's sake.
They gave him smokes and everything. Yeah, when they think someone's going to crack, they'll give him anything. Yeah, keep talking. Here's some cigarettes. It's okay. So they said that he never requested going to the bathroom at all for some reason in 5 hours, which is the bladder of a champion, this man. He might be an asshole, but his bladder is amazing.
I got to go right now.
You always have to go. You had to go during the live show. In Atlanta.
In
the second one. I think beer on stage, bad idea. Let's stick to booze.
Yeah.
Less volume.
There's just so much volume.
What do you say? Yeah. You come out with 3 tall boys, and I'm like, that's not
going to do good.
That's not tenable. Can't drink that and hang out here for an hour 45. This is going to be... Front row is in trouble here, because there is going to be an expectorant. Everybody break out your pizzas. He's about to pop.
There's a splash zone.
Awful. So he said, never said he was too tired, never said, you guys are killing me here. I don't know what's going on anymore. He just sat there, ate his pizza, drank his soda, smoked his cigarettes, and talked. No one threatened, coerced, or promised him anything, all that shit. He was shown the arrest affidavit that said there's a DNA match between him and the semen found within her, Angela Spenshaw's body. Yeah. And, they said, can you provide an explanation for that?
Right.
Which is a good question that really doesn't have an answer for. He has, this is amazing, by the way. He has explanations.
He has a story.
He's got a story for this.
Jesus.
Of how, without killing this woman or even being there, somehow his semen ended up in her dead body.
How did he David Blaine his seed into her?
This is David Copperfield. Never mind David Blaine. This is making a statue disappear or whatever. This is crazy.
This is not hiding in an ice block.
This isn't doing a good card trick. Right. This is some different shit here. By the way, the detectives, 2 hours into questioning, they had deemed him, one of them wrote down, quote, brazen, bold, arrogant, bizarre, and preposterous. Wow. That's how they've deemed him. Brazen, bold, arrogant, bizarre, and preposterous.
Wow.
So I like how he broke up the B's.
Yep.
He's like, I'm starting to get alliterative here.
Yeah, right.
I can't do that.
Yeah, throw in a new
break that up. And preposterous, which sounds
just 100% ludicrous, ridiculous, doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Sounds like you're being judged by an educated person. Right. Preposterous. What did you say? Preposterous. No. Wrong.
You are preposterous.
When someone says that's preposterous, you go, wow, you have to question yourself. If you said, I was born on this day and this year, and then someone said, that's preposterous, you'd go, was I born on that day? You'd take your fucking license out.
Am I not from there?
Mom, you lying to me? This guy says it's preposterous, so I'm starting to doubt you. I'm being honest here.
The man said preposterous and then shot an expectorant everywhere.
All over the place. My pizza crust is very shiny, though. I'm going to dip it in that sauce. So they said that, wow. They asked him if they would allow, they said, do you mind based on what you said, because it's interesting. Yeah. They did like in Mindhunter when he's like, you just have a really amazing vocabulary when the guy says crazy shit. It's kind of like that. They're like, this is pretty remarkable, and it could be a scientific first. Do you mind if we record this just for posterity, for the future, for scientists, so they'll know things? And he said, sure, let's go. You fire it up. Let me tell you how this happened here. So they said, in the beginning of it, they said, now we've advised you of your rights, right? They're holding in Snickers, right? Okay. This is... So
Start again, could you please?
Could we go back to the beginning? And he said, correct, you've done everything. And they said, okay, all right, so let's do this here. Oh my goodness, God, his explanation here. So he does that, and we'll give you the explanation in 1 second. He reviewed the content, signed the transcript, make sure that's what I meant to say. This is it right here. They continued. They got a second tape recorded statement again, and they did it again. They just kept tape just to make sure this is your fucking story and you're not backing out of it. Then they gave it to him the next morning. His statement that he made a transcript of it the next morning.
Remember after when he did this yesterday?
After he slept on it, just said, is it still okay? And he went, signing off. Absolutely. This is his theory. Okay. Explain why semen was found in a woman's vagina and rectum that you should not have been.
You didn't do that.
You were never you were only in the building to wash your hair. Okay. He says at this point, okay, guys, now here it is. This is the truth now. I've lied to you before. Okay. So a lot of times, me and my girlfriend, we have sexual intercourse before work in the morning, right? Yeah. So, like, I'll be like, I'm kind of, I'm horny in the morning. That's Sorry. I'm just a guy. You know what I'm saying? Horny in the morning. I jump on the old lady in the morning there. I'm like, come on now, wake her up and shake her and, hump on her a little bit. Right. And then when I'm done, they would do that. And he said, I would go to work right after that because, I'd be fucking right up until work time. So I'd have to run out of the door. And what I would do is I would run up before I started work, and I'd run up in Spence Shaw's bathroom and I'd wash up in her bathtub.
Wait, so what?
I'd wash. See, that's how it worked. See, I would wash
get in the tub,
the sex
and clean,
clean my balls.
I don't have time
at home. I check in the job. Hey, boss, I'm here. I gotta pee quick, and then run up. And then instead of peeing, he actually
pulls his pants down and washes his balls in her tub.
Sits down, does a good bathe over,
bath,
and he has so much excess.
Yeah. It's covered in
It's covered in it of his eye. It's all over, just pouring out.
He pulls out and just shoots it all over himself.
It takes him about a half hour to complete an orgasm.
I drive to work. I am coming the whole way.
I can't help it, so I really need to clean myself up.
I call my boss and I go, boss, I know I'm late, but don't worry, I'm coming. And then I just giggle the whole way to work.
I keep doing it. He said so when whoever killed this poor woman, obviously it's a terrible tragedy, put her in the bathtub, it rejuvenated my sperm that had been lying around in the tub before that. And then they must have, as sperm swim toward a target.
His dry freeze.
They knew where a vagina was, and they ran right in there. Because that's what they do.
They get inside
because they're sperm,
right?
So
they got one job to do.
So the police have a couple responses for that. One, his girlfriend Patricia said that during this time period they've never had sex in the morning before work. They've only had sex at night. After which he would always, quote, wash off any seminal fluid with their son's baby wipes. So there's that. So he's all class, first of all. He's all class. Wipe off my jizz with the kids. This one's still good. You can still use this one a couple of times anyway. If it's not one of them up the back, down the legs type of shits, you could at least get an initial swipe on it with one of these.
If it's just pee, just wipe the balls off. It'll freshen him up.
It's all the same.
Gross.
Then, so they said that's also why that's probably not happening. Plus, medically and, in science, the vagina is a closed space.
Right.
It's not just open for you. Things can't just fly up in there at any time. That's not how it works. No. Every time a woman would go swimming, she'd come out looking like a grape, like a big balloon filled with water otherwise. You could, I can't swim. I got to, hold on, let me board up my vagina first. It's got to do it like a Florida beach home in a hurricane. Hold on a minute.
Just hammering them in.
There we go. All right, now I can swim because I got to seal it on up now.
Every swimming pool would have particle board where the towels are.
Yeah, ladies, you're watertight. Don't fret.
Very similar to your butthole, sir. You're going to be all right.
They said it's a closed, protected space. Therefore, there wouldn't be any seepage or leakage from material in the tub that would, especially that much, to get a sample of it.
That'd be a shitload.
How much? Yeah, he just had little jizz reserves built up on the tub.
How much does he leave?
How much is he leaving behind?
That's a lot.
Too much, I would say. Arguably too much semen.
That's filling the tub.
That's another way of putting it.
Yeah,
I'm doing this. I'm filling the tub. That's not, no one's ever used that before.
Gross.
So town reaction, people are freaked out. Everyone's very happy with the news of the arrest, though, because at first people were losing their minds because they were like, this could happen to anybody. It's just some crazy nutcase breaking into some single lady's house and murdering her. This is horrible. One guy here, a guy named Joe Tracy, a psychologist who a reporter ran into, quote, sitting on a bench in the quaint town square, as the reporter described it. He says that residents can, quote, can return to their placid ways again. Mm-hmm. Laughing at the ocean. Yeah. Rest of you.
Back to placid.
They said that they have been started to lock their doors lately based on this case and everything. 1999, still not locking doors, by the way. They said that they were shocked because this is obviously a rich town.
Yeah.
So the Little Compton police chief, his name is Egbert Hawes.
Really?
Little Compton Police Chief Egbert. His name is Egbert.
This is pretty great.
Egbert Hawes.
I can't get enough of it. I wish I would have thought of that name when I had my son.
Egbert,
I can't get enough of it.
Excuse me.
As a middle name, at minimum. That's hysterical.
That would have been great.
That's so solid.
Egbert. No, that's his first name. He's Police Chief Egbert Hawes. Sorry. He said, up until now, everyone we looked at could have been a suspect.
Yeah.
So they finally got their man, they figure. But like I said, it's been really bad. Everybody was worried that anybody, anyone could strike at any time. A publisher of a local newspaper named Marcia England, that's her name, not the newspaper.
Right.
She said, quote, I know a lot of older women in their 80s.
Why?
Who knows a lot of older?
Lot?
Unless you're an older woman in your 80s.
Right.
How many older women in your 80s do you know?
It's a shitload.
This is weird. I know a lot of older women in their 80s who never locked their doors, and after this happened, people started locking their doors. Yeah. If you're in your 80s, lock your fucking doors, please, for the love of God. I don't care where you are.
Put a chain on that.
Yeah, I don't care where you are.
Good
Lock them up. Lock them up.
2, 3 locks.
Yeah, let's do it.
Lock it hard.
Yeah, please, Jesus, trust me. Based on what happened to my great-grandmother.
Lock the screen door.
Yeah, just in case.
All of them.
It'll be loud when they break it.
Right.
You'll know they're coming. You can call the cops or something. So, bail, he wants bail.
Really?
He goes, well, I should get bail. Yeah. I mean, based on my bathtub theory alone, I've advanced science. So, if not some sort of, I don't know, a Nobel Prize, I feel like. Think about Nobel Prize. Nobel Prizes for jizz research. Yeah, Nobel Prize in the category. What is it called? The field of jizzology goes to young Jeremy. You know what? Bail for you. You're gonna have to get to the Nobel Award ceremony soon. So
this is he advanced placebo science so many years.
It's amazing. They try to get. He wants bail. Jizzology. He's a leading source of it. It's wonderful. He says that Jesus Christ, the prosecutor at the bail hearing says that Jeremy, quote, he viciously brutally pummeled her until he could have his perverted ways with her. Ugh. Which sounds,
that's disgusting.
You put it in the way that would make everyone as angry as possible and go, I don't want him on the streets.
Well, can we kill him?
Which is a good idea. They did that. He gets no bail.
Yeah.
They drag her. They're saying he drug her into the bathtub, placed a hairdryer in the running water as well. Just like, well, I can drown her and she's going to die from beating, but just in case, I'll make it look like a suicide.
Right.
Because
she's had enough.
Yeah, she just
bashed her head against the wall.
Bashed herself all up, found Papa John, and then jumped in the tub.
That sounds to me like this woman really, really fought hard.
She fought her ass off, man. Yeah, she got woken up in the middle of the night and didn't go easy.
Right,
and
she fought back.
They also find the bloody pillow. It's so bloody because they believe he held it over her while he beat her.
Oh, Jesus.
To keep himself from being injured and to keep her, the hair and things off of him and stuff like that.
Wow, that's
Make
some
it a little
forethought.
Cleaner. Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's horrific.
He has thought about this, obviously, probably in the 2 years year and a half since he hid in a woman's back seat to kidnap her and do God knows what. This is what he's been planning on doing.
Boy.
Who knows? He could have been fantasizing about this since he was 15.
Good and pissed off at his ex-wife.
And an older lady like his wife, an older lady like this. A lot of times, this is, I would say that who knows how many of these he's done before, but the fact that it's like an older lady like this shows that it's
soft target.
Probably his first time, or hasn't done it a whole lot.
Right.
Hasn't narrowed it down to what he's into. He just narrowed it down to this is what I can get.
Right.
That lady in the car, a little more difficult. She can run.
Right.
Cornered in a bedroom while they're sleeping.
Opportunity.
That's better for him. Yeah. But I mean, who the fuck knows?
Gross.
Now, he isn't a big, huge guy, but he's a strong guy. He's a construction worker. He's not a pushover. He's he's strong enough to overtake a 66-year-old woman who doesn't know he's coming.
Right.
That's the other thing.
Imposing your will on a 66-year-old isn't so tough.
And not even in a fair fight.
Right.
We're talking in a, wake up in a dark house where this guy knows what's going on and you don't. So, they talk about that. They talk about that he knew how to enter her home, how to, knew that she lived alone. He knew that, he was there, so he knew that she would be home until, he knew her comings and goings from being at the site for a while. So the prosecutor said, quote, even giving him the benefit of the doubt, he had time to attack her, beat her, pummel her, rape her, and dispose of the evidence. He had 7 hours to accomplish that task, more than enough time. So they're saying, he was last seen at 1:30 and he called his girlfriend at 8:30 and said, I'm coming to Cape Cod. So he had 7 hours of where he's unaccounted for.
That's a lot.
The Domino's pizza, by the way, was not from that night. It was from the night before.
Gross.
Friday night.
Even worse.
They checked the records. They delivered him a pizza on Friday night, not on Saturday night. So he lied about that too. Now, his lawyer says, I don't know. What do you say if you're his? You stand up there and you go, look. Listen,
he ordered the pizza the night before. He clearly doesn't know anything. He clearly has no idea where he is.
I know this looks bad.
Right.
I'm not going to lie.
We'll say that.
The pizza, as my associate just mentioned, he ordered that, obviously. So he doesn't know what pizza's bad.
Right.
So clearly, he's not in the right mental state.
Yeah.
Plus, I believe there's something physiologically wrong with him to produce an amount of expectorant to fill a bathtub. To the extent of, we need to check him over, basically. No, he says, his lawyer says, quote, he did not murder Angela Spence Shaw. He did not sexually assault her, Your Honor. There is no physical evidence to suggest otherwise.
That's it.
And the judge says, that DNA stuff is pretty physical. By the way, before the trial, he's saying this on purpose, the lawyer saying no physical evidence, because basically they do a hearing in May of 2000 where his lawyer says, DNA isn't real.
Oh, boy.
He goes, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
Basically, he says, prove why DNA should be allowed in. Prove why that's it.
He's going to be that dick.
He has a pre-trial evidentiary thing to where he's asking for the reliability, relevancy, and admissibility of DNA evidence and seeking an order prohibiting the state from making any reference to DNA evidence in the case because he says basically it's not real.
Wow.
He says the court previously approved of the use of restriction fragment length polymorphism DNA testing, and it had never approved PCR DNA testing. Another kind, this particular court. But it's basically, that's an accepted, there's several accepted ways to test DNA that are acceptable in court.
Mitochondrial, is that one? I think that's one.
I don't know anything about it, but this is a PCR DNA analysis, and this is a restriction fragment length polymorphism, an RFLP DNA test. Those are different. There's different kinds. They use different machines, so you get the same results. Okay. So he also argued that the court should exclude the evidence of DNA, due to the fact that the justice's pretrial discovery rulings, by denying him access to critical information relating to the analysis, made it impossible for them to cross-examine the witness. Basically, he says, you didn't give me exact scientific breakdown of how this machine works and all that. And they were obviously going to go over it and make sure that would scientifically test DNA.
Yeah, because I'm sure he knows.
Which is fucking crazy. So on this trial, this lasts several days, this pretrial hearing, to see if DNA is now an acceptable thing in court in 2001. We go into 2001. This is 6 years after OJ got acquitted. Yeah. DNA is very acceptable.
I've seen it several times in that autopsy show on HBO. Yeah. By this time, I've watched this show 6 times.
It's been a plot of approximately 600 Law and Order episodes have all just convicted someone on DNA. So they said that the justice noted that the use of PCR testing and its results were one scientific issue that the Supreme Court had not yet specifically addressed, but they also found that testing is not new in the scientific world or in trial usage. Yeah. It's standard. Yeah. They just didn't specifically say that one's okay. They just accepted the results of it.
I like the lawyer because the lawyer, he's doing
he's doing his job. He's being ticky-tacky.
Yeah, he's basically going in and
it's this DNA stuff, Your Honor. We don't even know what those words. Do you know what that stands for off the top of your head? Of course not. Your average person, no one knows. It's garbage. Yeah. It's bullshit.
But nobody knows what TNT stands for either, but we know that blows shit up.
That's what I'm talking about.
So the other part is he's just going in, and his whole defense is nope,
not me. First of all,
they present their whole argument, and then his lawyer stands up and goes,
no, machines don't work. Number one, obviously, my client had been using that as his jizz receptacle. That clearly, that's what's happening here. Right. Even if that's true, even if the DNA is true, which I don't think it is, but if it is, obvious explanation for it. Case, I can go home now.
We're done?
We done?
I think we're done here.
He's going to order a Domino's. Should he give him this address or her home address? He's going to be home in 30, right? We should be good.
Because that pizza's going to be here in 30.
It's coming. Right. They guarantee it now. So, shit here at your house in 30 minutes. Gee, thanks. You promise? Sounds like a threat. I'll bring a Domino's pizza to your house. I'll be there in less than 30 minutes. No, I don't want to eat it in 30 minutes. Sounds
or else
terrible.
It's free.
It's going to be free.
It ought to be anyway.
Sounds like shit, sir. So this May 20, in 2001, this court date, he comes into court on crutches because he broke his leg while in prison. Hopefully somebody painfully broke it up. Hopefully 2 guys held it over an open space while another guy jumped on it happily and victoriously like he just won the lottery until it snapped in half like a fucking twig because I don't like this asshole. So they said that the DNA is going to be admitted in and everything like that. It's happening.
Yeah. I hope his lawyer broke it.
Yeah. You asshole.
Dumb motherfucker.
You dumb bastard.
You gave me nothing.
The other construction workers probably did it. You ruined our whole shit. We could go in and out of houses at will. Now they're looking at us. January 23rd, 2001, trial starts. He testifies, which is an interesting strategy. He's going to testify here. Basically, his case before he.
Because his lawyer's like, I'm not saying how that got in there. I need you to get up there and tell them what you told these cops. I need you to say how this stuff arrived. Because otherwise, that expectorant, I can't just say it. I can't say it.
I can't do it here. It's fucking ridiculous. So, Jesus Christ. So, yeah, he says that it's an identical statement that his lawyer gives of what he did, that night. He didn't do any of that, blah, blah, blah. Kids, rum, pizza, phone conversations.
Right. Jizz in the tub.
Jizz in the tub. He says that he did lie about having sexual intercourse with his girlfriend before going to work in the morning. He does say he lied about that. He also says that he was familiar with the floor plan of Spence Shaw's home and knew how to get up to her bedroom from the opening in the wall that he and the other construction workers made as part of the addition. So he does, however, though, during his testimony, he admits that he says that they noticed that him and the other construction workers noticed the box marked Rhode Island State Police with the foot impression, and that's why he got rid of the shoes, because he thought they would try to pin it on him based on his, past. So he presents evidence saying that he was so drunk that he couldn't have done this. He said he drank about 12 Heinekens and 3/4 of a bottle of rum. So he goes, I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have gone over there. I wouldn't even have been able to drive.
Whiskey dick. You ever heard of it?
Never heard of it. Plus, I would have been stumbling.
Right.
But Kelly Stokes, the teenager from the front yard there, she says she saw him drinking both rum and beer, and that he wasn't stumbling. He wasn't falling down. He was fine. He talked to Patricia on the phone. She says that he'd been drinking when she spoke to him by telephone, but he seemed fine.
No slurring.
So he has no evidence that his level of intoxication. Nobody said I saw him not being able to hold himself up under his own power at 1 a.m. So he couldn't have possibly gone over there and did this, which that would have made sense if he said that. So there's no evidence regarding his tolerance for alcohol based on his drinking habits, or he doesn't present anything like that. Like, this guy could still drink that much and whatever. Nothing. They also don't give any evidence of whether he ate any food, that sort of shit. So there's no way to tell any kind of intoxication to what degree it is here. They say, quote, there was no testimony at trial regarding how much alcohol the defendant typically consumed, how much defendant weighed, or how much food he'd eaten that day. All factors that are relevant to determining whether the person is intoxicated. Also, he testified to drinking 3/4 of a bottle of rum, and they said, how big was the bottle? And he said, quote, about this big.
Yeah.
So,
and held his hands out.
And then held his hands out as if he caught a trout.
Yeah.
So, finally, he gets there. He gets to Angela's home, they said that he had, enough self-awareness, drunk or not, to use a pillow to cushion the blows so he wouldn't suffer any cuts or bruises during this and bleed on her. But dragged her in, submerged her with water, plugged in the hairdryer, turned it on, placed it in the bathtub, all that shit. Then it shows that he cleaned up the bathroom and removed the sheets from her bed, and was then sober enough to safely drive himself back home. So evidence says that you're full of shit. You weren't that drunk. He testifies here, and he's almost in tears when he talks about how the police confronted him, and then he seemed angry when they were cross-examining him. He was very fiery about it. He says, quote, about the state investigators, they weren't believing what I was saying, and I wasn't believing what they were saying. So they were trying to pin it on me, is what it was. He said he's just a team, one of a team of workmen. He didn't do shit. He says that he decided to lie after state police repeatedly asked him how his DNA was found inside her, telling them that he had sex with his girlfriend and then went to work. He says that he just did that because he thought they were trying to pin it on him, and he had to get out of it somehow in that way. He says that he definitely lied, though, because they didn't have sex that morning. He says that he did use the bathtub to splash water on his face and other parts of his body, but that's
That's all.
Okay. He says he was drinking beer at the house, gave his regular story. He says he just got home at 1:30, opened up a can of beer, watched TV, passed out in his chair, woke up at 8, went to a store to get a part for his car, and then called his girlfriend at 8:30, and which he actually called her at about 9:30. Right. Phone records show he said 8:30 the whole time. Then he left for Cape Cod and went to Cape Cod for that day. Now, she says, his girlfriend Patricia says that he was upset when he arrived at Cape Cod, but he was also drunk and hungover and was throwing up and stayed in bed all day. And he couldn't dispute the DNA evidence other than saying DNA is fucking not real.
Right.
So that didn't work. So he said that on the stand, he contends that the semen found inside of her, rather than that's not his, he said it was planted there by on a swab by a third party.
Yeah.
So yeah. This is so his science is amazing.
He's terrible.
They're planting my semen everywhere.
All right.
Everybody's got a sample. I just got to give them out for Christmas. So who could has a hold of my semen? I don't know. A lot of people, 50, 60 people. Anyway, everyone who doesn't have your jizz? We all have jizz. Everyone has some. So yeah, he says that Jesus Christ, he provided them with a semen sample in addition to the blood sample, and he said that's where they got it.
Yeah.
He said then they retroactively went in and were like, it was in there the whole time. That works. Jesus Christ. They said, obviously, no. Right. They had to bring the detective up to go, no, there's a chain of custody, and this is how it worked, and the jizz seal was never broken. So he said that he said after he was told he's a prime suspect and that it was a time to help himself out, he says that's when he started telling him that that there were differences. That's when he basically started saying that he thought the cops were on him and were trying to pin it on him at that point even more. Now they're trying to do it scientifically, you know. He said that the detective furnished him with a cup and a pornographic magazine, and then he went into his own car in the St. Anne's Hospital parking lot and produced the semen sample, which he gave to the detective. They didn't even put him in a bathroom.
Oh, God.
He said, go out in the car and whack it, which I believe you get arrested for doing that.
I think so.
I would hope so.
The cops employed him to tug into a cup?
That's his testimony.
Yep.
He said the detective says that he did talk to him about it, but that he did not ask him to provide a semen sample. He said in 11 years with the state police, he's never taken a semen sample from anyone or seen another detective thank him. We'll get it from the blood.
Yeah.
We don't need your...
We're good.
We'll figure it out from that. Thank you. We don't need your jizz. Keep your jizz in your pants, mister. Keep it on your pizza. Keep your... save it for your pie. So, also, and after he was arrested, never mentioned anything about semen sample, never mentioned any of this shit until on the stand started talking about this. And they talk about second blood sample that was given and all that sort of thing. We don't need to get into. They do all the forensics on the stand. They talk about how it's a match at every single thing, every point of everything. It would have to be him and, one other person that lived 100 years ago in China. They're the only people that could possibly do this. You know how it works there with this. So based on the size of this number and the results of this case, it is logical, scientifically, logical, and reasonable that the DNA from the vaginal swab, sperm fraction, and the DNA from one Mr. Motaika are in fact the same person. So that's that. This all goes to the jury.
Yeah.
Now, you're on the jury.
Oh, boy.
Do we believe in science? Or do we believe in magic jizz monster swabbing pizza people?
The craziest story I've ever heard.
The craziest story. This is almost as crazy as there was a black guy in there already killing her, so I killed him.
This is as crazy.
It's just as crazy. That's what I mean. It's
because
just as crazy.
He's just denying that he killed anybody at all.
At least that guy made up another person.
There. Right.
This guy said DNA is not real, and then, they must have planted it.
That guy at least
from a semen
acknowledged that he knew that his semen was inside. Yes, I know my semen's inside her. I know there's no way to explain that except for this unbelievable story.
He said a detective took him outside and went, here's a fucking hustler. Go in your car and jerk it and give it to me. That's not protocol. That's not how you collect any sample of anything. No. You do it in a hospital. That way, there's not how that's.
And that's how you frame people.
So that's how it works. So
this is a crazier story.
The jury takes 4 hours. Mm-hmm. I don't know what took 4 hours, but I guess to determine. One person went, is DNA real? And the other 11 went, what are you nuts? Well, what's wrong with this guy? Finally, they come back guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty on here of murder and everything else. So that's good for him. They determine aggravating factors in the crime as well.
Yeah.
Inflicting pain beyond what was needed to kill the victim. That means the judge can consider a sentence of life without parole, which is the worst Rhode Island has to offer here. It's too small for the death penalty. They have nowhere to keep the execution house.
Or the drugs.
They just don't have anywhere to keep it.
Too small.
So sentencing comes around, and the judge very quickly, it does not take long. This guy is like the poster child for this here. The judge says, you, sir, may fuck off. Life without parole for you, sir. You are going away very hard.
We're lucky he didn't get that judge from Facebook. That guy lets everybody off. Have you seen that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great judge. Yeah. He's so sweet.
I think maybe this one would have been different.
He may have been like,
you go home. You go home. You stick around a while.
Forever.
Next, you home. We're going to keep you.
You guys all go home, but you fucking forever.
We're going to hang out.
Yeah.
We're going to hang on to you. Now, 2 years later, right after, it's 2 years after the murder, right after the conviction in 2001, Angela Spence Shaw, her family, sues the construction company.
Oh, shit.
For hiring a guy who's a carjacker and failing to keep an eye on them, basically. Filed a lawsuit against them because he was sentenced to life in prison. It's
wrongful
a good time.
Death, right?
Yep. Her sons, Gerard and Justin Spence, filed a lawsuit in Newport County Superior Court against David Peckham, who owned the New England Home Building and Restoration, Inc., which is based in Little Compton, seeking monetary damages, saying that they basically didn't. They're guilty of negligence for failing to seal the house after knocking down a wall. You can't just leave a tarp dangling over a hole.
A 66-year-old woman in bed?
Not okay.
Yeah, you fucking mind?
I don't care how safe the town is. It's ridiculous. An animal could have walked in there or something. It's crazy. Anything.
A child could have been hurt there. That's not safe either.
Literally, a stray dog could have went in there and mauled her in her sleep.
At minimum, it's an OSHA violation.
It's not good.
Right.
Yeah, it's not standard operating procedure in renovations, I guess. So 2006, he appeals, saying that he should get parole someday.
Yeah.
He's like, look, I get it, but...
Did they win?
Who?
The family.
We don't know that. It went into a private thing, but the lawsuit filing was a public thing. So I would assume they won.
I would. Yeah, it's probably one of those.
Seems like it.
One of those under the rug ones. What do they call that? Undisclosed.
Or an out of court settlement too. They might have settled because this looks terrible. That's bad PR.
Oh boy,
you don't want that thing going to court and publicly. No. You go, let's just. What do you want? Just
this
take it all.
This guy's gonna fight. He's actually fighting back against the family for this. This is crazy.
Yeah. So 2006. He says he wants parole someday. That's his appeal here. Yeah. He says he was possibly too drunk, is what he's saying now. He's too drunk to do this. That's his defense.
Okay.
No evidence to say that he was obviously too drunk to do anything, is what they say. They said, his lawyer says, look, he's going to serve a long sentence, obviously. He did it. He's guilty. He got found guilty. But the chance for parole would, quote, at least give some hope that his life is not one that has been wasted and that he can participate in society and show his worthiness to be a productive citizen.
No.
And they said, no, thanks. Yeah. We got enough of those. Plenty of citizens that are productive. They're expectorant. They're all sorts of things.
He's had enough chances.
Yeah, I don't think so. Her children called the sentence reduction request, quote, a rude request.
Oh, yeah.
That's downright impolite. And it's true. I agree with them.
Rude.
How rude.
Yes.
Her son Gerard said, quote, let him serve a completion of the sentence he imposed on himself. Yeah. Fair enough. The judge requested or denied his request and said that she might have sensed remorse from him if he, quote, accepted some responsibility or at least begged for the family's forgiveness, but he did neither.
Nothing.
So he did nothing except go, I'd like to go home someday just because I want to.
I like pizza.
I like pizza. So 2014, he goes for post-conviction relief, and he is denied that.
Good.
He asked in this saying that his writings should be admitted as evidence for him, saying that it wasn't fair what happened in court because he gets tongue-tied in the courtroom.
I don't care.
So it was his testimony. He screwed himself because he couldn't say what he wanted to say because of some sort of social whatever.
Jizz is in a dead woman.
Sorry. And
bye.
Jizz dead woman.
Right.
Goodbye.
Get the fuck out of here. This episode has been more jizz soaked than a Papa John's pizza.
Than all the Papa John's pizza in all of Shaq's stores. So 2017 post-conviction relief attempt. If you're a new listener, by the way, we rarely mention jizz.
This is an anomaly.
More jizz that's been mentioned in the previous 138 episodes. It's just weird. So he's going for post-conviction relief. In 2014, he was denied.
Yeah.
And at this point, there is a state Supreme Judge talks about this, and they say, quote, we view as particularly disquieting the fact that Mr. Motyka was clearly unable to articulate his arguments in court, and the fact it is plain from the hearing transcript that his court-appointed counsel seemed to be advising him on how to respond to the hearing justice's questions and how to submit evidence while simultaneously arguing why Mr. Motyka's claims lacked merit. So, they say that the various reasons for his argument for relief: actual innocence, prosecutorial misconduct, double jeopardy, insufficient jury instructions, ineffective assistance of trial counsel, ineffective assistance of appellate counsel, abuse of judicial discretion, violation of due process rights, and the violation of equal protection right. That's what he's saying he wants. Basically, this is a ruling that comes down. It's a rule called Shatney, is what they call it. Like you've heard of Alford pleas and this and that.
It's the Shatney plea.
It's not a plea. Shatney's it's a rule that basically it says from this point forward, Shatney versus state shall be deemed basically this makes it inapplicable. This case shoots down Shatney. This was a precedence-causing case. it basically, there's post-conviction relief for an applicant who's been sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. I believe the Shatney is an automatic, some sort of automatic initial application that you don't have to make yourself. I believe that it's automatically, hearing given to a prisoner sentenced to life and parole had not been sufficient to qualify as an evidentiary hearing. So they're saying that this, basically the rule of your automatic hearing after your life without parole isn't a sufficient enough hearing, is what they say. So for that, and because of that, they're going to strike down that rule, the Shatney rule, which was a big rule, and the Supreme Court announces it's vacating the 2014 Supreme Court ruling denying his request for post-conviction relief. That means they're saying he should have post-conviction relief. They raised doubts about the hearing leading up to the judge's decision to deny his appeal. The jury convicted him, obviously. Now, this, by the way, a spokesman for the Rhode Island Attorney General's office said that it doesn't mean it's going to affect his conviction at all. Post-conviction relief is a needle in a haystack for actual. That just means you're trying to get like new evidence or of a new something kind of to get a new trial going. That's the best you can get out of it. They're not going to say, go free, young man. Right. That's not how this works. They said, quote, the Rhode Island Supreme Court previously found that a first-time petitioner seeking relief from a life without parole sentence is entitled to an evidentiary hearing before the court can dismiss the post-conviction relief application. In this case, the Supreme Court found that the Superior Court erred in not providing Jeremy with the evidence hearing as part of his post-conviction relief petition. There's no evidentiary hearing. The Supreme Court remanded the matter back to the Superior Court, and it turns into illegal shit. Basically, he's going to get a post-conviction relief hearing that should probably last 15 minutes, and they'll tell him to fuck back off to prison. Your jizz was found in a dead lady.
It's over.
Fuck off. All his points are bullshit. It's just a matter of he should have got a hearing.
There will be no technicalities here, sir.
They're just saying you should have had a hearing on the sentencing.
All the hearings you want.
And this is only on sentencing, too. Right. This has nothing to do with the case. Right. He's fucked, basically. So that's him. That is Little Compton, Rhode Island, the weirdest name of a town since Santa Claus, Georgia. And that is Motoika and his assholeness and poor Angela Spence Shaw. And it's terrible. It's an awful deal there. So that is that. That is Rhode Island.
Wow.
Good Lord. If you enjoyed that, there are ways to tell us about it very easily. You can go over to your purple icon there, Apple Podcasts, and you can give us a review. Those help a lot. 5 stars would be wonderful. Doesn't matter what you say. You can't fix us with words. Just say you're following instructions, or they made me do this, or doesn't matter what you say. But those 5 stars really help drive us up the charts, and that's super important. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Yes.
Oh, it's the best, Jimmy. What are you going to find there?
Oh, you got shirts, you got wares, you got all kind of
stuff.
All
sorts of stuff.
But you know what the best thing over there is?
I think I do.
Live show tickets.
Live show tickets coming up here. The only few left on this tour are really Pittsburgh and Philly, or not Philly. Pittsburgh, Philly and DC. The others are either almost within 20 tickets of selling out or sold out, all the others. And also Nashville, the one we announced for April.
Almost gone.
There's like 10 tickets left, so it's gone. It's gone already. So get your ticket maybe today or probably not at all. Crime and Sports the night before, though, is still a few tickets for that, so get those.
Come to Philly, come to DC.
Come to Philly, come to DC. It's going to be wild. We always have a good time in Philly, and we loved DC last year too. We were in Silver Spring, Maryland. This year we're a little more DC proper, but it's going to be fun. The DC, the theater,
historic ass theater.
It's a historic, really cool old theater. Come check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to be an even bigger friend to us, you can follow us on social media. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. So you can catch us at any of those places. Keep doing that, please. That really helps. If you want to be one of our heroes, and we mean this, honestly, one of our goddamn heroes, you can do that very easily here. One of our producers, you can do that over at patreon.com/crimeandsports, or you can head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And both of those are available. Links right from the Shut Up and Give Me Murder website.
They are.
And without further ado, Jimmy, I need to hear this. It's been a long week. We've been on the road. I need to hear a list of the greatest people going. Jimmy, hit me with it now.
This week's executive producers are Jordan Bennett, Chrissy O'Neill, Tim Trejo, who I hope is related to Danny. Yeah. Justin Miller, of course. Thanks so much for coming to the show, Justin.
Guys.
Good to see you.
Definitely.
And Chrissy-Ann Castaldi. Thank you very much, Chrissy. Welcome back. Other producers this week are Kel Ekstrom, Roger Orozco, Brianna Ihrig, Thomas Smith, Janine Walter, Nicole Heffel-Ensberg. Is that a J or an S?
I don't know. That's your handwriting.
It is. Stephanie Jones, Keely Haig, Lillian Gerveller, Lauren Rubino.
Aha.
Yeah. No. Andrea Samples, April Carter, Ronnie Kumar, Alex Etched, Nathan Segalius, Patrick Lau, Gabrielle Rebus, that's a lady, god damn it, Katie Russell, Maria Goel, Susanna Platt, Garrett Sanvito, Martino Liwalongo. Liwalonga.
Yeah,
that's
we know her. We like her a lot.
Bill Stinch. No, Szynski. Sarah W. Sarah W. Tyler Gwill, Jackie Sukup, Catherine Poole, Lanny Blunk, Dennis Firestone, William Bledsoe, Valerie Stroh, Bonnie and Ryan. Bonnie and Ryan Santa Maria.
Well, thanks, Bonnie and Ryan.
Or a guy, Bonnie Ryan, Boney.
Either way.
I'm not sure. Shannon Malbaum. Oh, My Bomb. I think it's My Bomb. Ether Baba.
Okay.
I think.
If you say so.
Megan Sixtoes, Selena with no last name, Liz Vasquez, Krista Walker, Britt Williams, Jesse Hartman, Reagan Shalkley. She got a new car, and she got a license plate that says "Shut Up and Give Me Murder."
Yes.
But she's SUAG, and
we know what it is. Thank you. That's so
she
cool.
She got the shwugum.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reagan. Raphael Gaitan, Jimmy and Amy and Maria Crawford, Stephen Rude, Heather Nichols, Jacob Farrar, Rhiannon Clifton, Katrina Rollins, James Martyr, Jude Kendall, Christina Lawler, Lisa Covey, Don Doyle, Travis Gustafson, Kim Blevins, and Kim and Drake Blevins. We met them in Charlotte. Thank you guys for coming. And it's fantastic to see, because people have social anxieties, and it's amazing and fucking so rewarding to see you guys make it out to shows.
That's so cool.
Just because you like our show that much. Thanks for overcoming the shit that you guys deal with.
We
it's
appreciate
amazing.
it.
It's so cool.
You say, I'm going to try to do this. You try to mount an attack for us. And we appreciate
so
that.
Rad.
Thank you guys.
So thanks for coming out, Drake. Nathan Little, Braden Wanner. Braden, thank you.
Thank you, Braden.
Megan with no last name. Tara O'Neill. Gary Howard again. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Peyton Meadows. Michael Coziella. Yep. Tom Blake,
and him too.
Caitlin Buchanan, Amber Swisher, Numerio, Jack Hillman, Brendan Abels, Samantha Joy, Steve Schnell. Again, thanks,
hey,
Steve.
See you
in Philly, brother.
See you there, brother.
Aaron Workman, Kelly Boyer, Barbie McGuire, Heather Harrison, Stephanie Mertz, Lori Stevens. Oh, she works over at United States Postal Service, and they wouldn't give her a day off, and they're fucking jerks.
They suck.
You're the best, Lori. Thank you.
Yes, they
Erica,
suck. You're good.
That's what it is. Erica Geisler, Gary Shirley, Samantha Tooley, Rick Radford, Remy with no last name, Kristen Stevens Groff, Stephen Oregon.
Stephen Oregano.
Yep. Olivia Fung, Kayla Ginn Boatwright, Jason Stacy, Trevor Seck, Christine with no last name, Kelly Huck, Della Reaganweather, okay. Caroline Wayne, Catherine Hunt, Mike Vlemenik.
Mike.
I think so. Kelsey Hebert. Again, thanks, Kelsey.
Hey, Kelsey.
Matt Johnson, Dana Martinez, Rita Argentino, Kathy Saldana.
Camilla and Kathy going to go out for the night.
John Miller, Allison Dotseth, Matthew Lopez, Kaylin Mitchell, Jamie Thibault, E-Bitch from P-Town, Sean Cobean, Dustin Petershack.
Okay.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Ryan Stevens, Niece, Amanda M with no last name, and Matt Bowers wrote a fucking really sweet email too. His dad passed away, and he used to ride with his dad to the cancer treatments, listening to us. And his dad really loved us. So I'm bummed I'm bummed that his pops is gone. But
sucks,
thanks so much for writing that, Matt. Really appreciate to hear from you. Brian Mark or Marquis Kark. That's what it is. No, it's not. Camille Nielsen, Joy Mongian, Mimi Tucker, Susie Rodriguez, Joseph Alcary, Michelle Lombard. Michelle Lombard.
You missed a syllable the first time.
It looks like Lombardi, so it's ruining
your brain wants
That's
Lombardi.
What it is.
Yeah.
Livy Chambers, Simon Hawker, Jenna Say What? That's the lady that does the cosplay shit. She came to the show.
Yeah, we met them.
I think it was
nice to meet
Raleigh.
you guys.
Yeah,
I believe it was Raleigh at the Raleigh
Ann
Improv.
Winter, yes,
the wonderful Raleigh
It's
Improv.
fantastic. Kiana Renfro, Cirque Michaels, Nikki Clement, Simeon Woodvine, Emily Dalenberg, Kimberly Thompson, Danielle Alari, Casey Huffman. Thanks, Casey. Julie Schmitz, Hillary Moody, Ida KK, and Steve Forster. You guys, thank you so much. You do everything for us, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. More than you know, we really, really appreciate everything you do for us.
And expectorant on your name.
Jimmy did it with a little extra expectorant on there. He really put a little. I called it a plum, but I think it's expectorant. A little expectorant elan. Let's just say, good job, Jimmy. Jimmy, what if they wanted to track you down and rub jizz on your pizza? How could they do that?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks. WHIS. What is it?
Spell the rest of your name. M-A-N.
Yeah. WHISMAN sucks.
Yeah.
On Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
See, if he mispronounces your name, don't feel bad because he misspells his own, so it's fine. Don't expect him to know yours. He doesn't know his.
Where can they find you, James?
I am at Jimmy P is funny. You can find me there, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description and make it easy on yourself to not have to spell it. Do that. Follow us. Like we said, get those live show tickets. They're going quick, and we can't wait to see you guys out there.
DC, let's really hang out.
Let's really do it. It's going to be a blast like that, and keep coming back and seeing us. We're having a lot of fun at these live shows. We really like interacting with you people, and we really just like the instant gratification. We're comics.
Right.
We're used to, you say a joke, somebody laughs.
Right.
So when you're doing it in a podcast, it's a different format. And so when we can do it on the show and live, and then you laugh, and we go, hey, what we're doing might be working, because there's real people laughing.
Did you hear that?
Wow, pretty neat. So thank you for doing all of that. That said, Jesus, we can't wait to come back every damn week after this. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.